Well, once again, we are live here at MSC. Good evening, everyone. Chief Morales, Joel Fritzman here alongside Drew. For some reason, my camera's not on. There we go. We have the Michigan Storm Chasers Part 2 coverage for today. We got another severe thunderstorm warning, kind of the same spot as earlier, this time with our main line that is moving through tonight. This orange box on your screen is the severe thunderstorm warning. National Weather Service in Marquette has issued the severe thunderstorm warning for northwestern Iron County, central Gogebic County, southwestern Houghton County, and Ontonagon County in western Upper Michigan until 9:15 Eastern, 8:15 Central. At 7:25 Central Time, a severe thunderstorm was located near northern Lake Gogebic, or 21 miles south of Porcupine Mountain State Park. The storm is moving east at 35 miles per hour. This is a storm that may be producing 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-sized hail. And this storm will be will include locations impacted include Ironwood, Bessemer, Wakefield, Marinisco, Hurley, Berglund, Rockland, Bruce Crossing, Paulding, Kenton, Mass City, and northern Lake Gogebic. For your protection, move into your room on the lowest floor of a building. Anyone in campgrounds should seek sturdy shelter until the storm has passed. 1-inch hail and 6-mile-per-hour winds, again, are the main hazards. So again, no severe weather expected today in the Lower Peninsula. Is my mic really loud for once? Has that been interesting? Okay. Well, if I'm too loud for y'all, let me know. But we do got this severe thunderstorm warning in effect. It is basically kind of like a string of pearls here. And primarily it's going to be this storm right here near Berglund. This cell has exhibited some upper level rotation as well in previous scans. It has kind of decreased a little bit since this warning has been issued, but it is an upper level meso that we are watching. The ingredients out there right now are sufficient for some large hail and damaging winds, and also the threat for a tornado or two. We do have a tornado warning down in Park Falls, Wisconsin, heading towards Fifth Field. This is again 2 counties south of Gogebic County right now, so northern Price County in Wisconsin. Current trajectory, those storms will continue to move pretty much due east. So if they stay together, these storms will be moving into Iron County, maybe even Dickinson County very late tonight. And again, these storms are moving very slow at about 30 to 35 miles per hour. So flash flooding is also a concern tonight across the region. We can see here in the green boxes in Wisconsin, those are all flash flood warnings. And in fact, we do have a considerable flash flood warning for portions of northern Wisconsin as well, and Drummond. So all those green boxes, we might see some more green boxes pop up here across the western UP later tonight. So severe thunderstorm warning does include portions of 4 different counties here in the Upper Peninsula.
Once again, these storms are, as Joel mentioned, kind of trailing one another, so they're moving very slow, or at a somewhat slow pace. So we were mentioning it earlier on, but flooding could be a concern. Off to our west, there's multiple flash flood warnings in extreme northern portions of Wisconsin for at least 2 or 3 inches of rainfall for sure for many locations. So that's going to be something that we'll also be monitoring here as these storms continue to slowly move off to the east-northeast. And as Joel was kind of mentioning too, these same areas are now getting heavy rainfall, which not too long ago, a few hours ago, we went live for some more severe weather coverage in the same regions that were experiencing very heavy rainfall, damaging winds, and hail. So once again, we're now seeing that tonight with this line as it's moving off to the east with a cold front.
Brief while ago, we were also watching some upper level rotation near Lance. That has since weakened as well. Just a normal line of thunderstorms at the current time. North of Herman, now east of Lance, moving up towards Oro once again, and eventually Big Bay in northern Marquette County. We'll keep an eye on it just in case it has a statement that comes out for it, but right now the primary focus is going to be this batch of storms here across Gogebic County and southern Ontonagon County that will continue off to gradually the east. And of course, this line of strong to severe storms across the Wisconsin area as well. If we switch over to our Duluth radar in the eastern portions of Minnesota, you can see where some of that rotation was, I guess you could say, was there near Loretta. Again, we're looking for reds and greens close together. They had enough confidence in that being a lower level rotation. And again, it has been trimmed. Reds and greens starting to go away a little bit. We do still have some reds and greens mixing in together across portions of Iron County, Wisconsin. And we'll have to watch these cells as they continue to slide due east towards perhaps Watersmeet and Lando Lakes, which again is going to be the far eastern portions of Gogebic County. And as Drew and I were kind of talking here right before we went live, there is a lot more unstable ingredients, I guess you could say. Just there's a lot more CAPE available, lot better chance to see surface-based storms further south you are on the UP, because again, earlier today we had severe storms across the northern half of the UP, and that allowed the atmosphere to stabilize a little bit and become less severe for these storms later tonight. So in terms of the Keweenaw Peninsula, you guys should be rather okay when it comes to severe weather tonight. But again, if you're south of Houghton, definitely want to be on alert for severe weather tonight, especially south of Winona, Ontonagon, and Lance here. So pretty much anywhere outside of the Keweenaw Peninsula across the western UP tonight is going to have the best chance at seeing severe. You never know. We could see more storms pop up that might be borderline strong to severe later behind this main line, but I think the main show with how stable it is in the Keweenaw Peninsula tonight is going to be along the front edge of the cells moving through Gogebic County right now, Ontonagon, and eventually in towards Iron County as well.
Another thing too, I've been kind of noticing as I'm putting my radar on loop here through the Marquette radar is we're kind of having more cells kind of pop to the south of the severe thunderstorm warning and are slowly kind of moving north, kind of merging in with its main line, which in return it's been kind of strengthening and expanding that rain field, I guess is the best way to put it. So there's going to be multiple areas here that we're going to be on the lookout here for heavy rainfall, really in throughout really western UP. So
my mic must be super loud. I'm going to turn that down. They must have fixed something to do with the audio, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it down. Test, test, test. How's this sound? Drew, feel free to keep speaking on the weather if you would like.
Is there still an echo, or is it better? Testing. Test 1, 2.
Now, for some reason, it looks like my mic was fixed. For some reason, my mic has always been really quiet when it picks up my voice. I noticed it was peaking a lot on my bar tonight for the first time. So, yeah. Again, for those who are tuning in, no severe threat for the lower peninsula tonight. This is a western and central UP threat. Severe thunderstorm warning in effect for portions of Ontonagon, Gogebic, Houghton, and extreme northwestern Iron County, all in the Upper Peninsula. We also have severe warnings and even a tornado warning here in northern Wisconsin, and this action will be continuing towards Watersmeet, Iron River, Crystal Falls, perhaps even Iron Mountain as late as midnight to 1 a.m. Eastern time, so it could be 11 to midnight Central time. But again, as we get closer to sunset, we get into the sunset overnight hours, our surface-based CAPE, which is fueled by the sunlight every single day, will start to taper off, and these storms will become less severe, maybe more elevated in nature. We could still see some winds gust down to the surface, but again, it becomes increasingly hard unless you have upper level support that can mix down for severe to happen after sunset.
Yeah, Joel has a good point with that note. We were mentioning this too before we went live, as we probably think, roughly speaking, an hour and a half, maybe 2 hour window for these storms to kind of take advantage of the environment before it eventually starts to get dark and the instability will start to drain. Wouldn't be shocked, Joel, if we eventually, once these storms eventually die down, would see a outflow boundary with this line potentially, and that might be the key or secret maybe to hinting of these storms eventually decreasing. But we're not seeing that right now, so I think obviously these storms still have the time to continue to strengthen and become severe or stay severe as they continue to slowly track off to the east.
As mentioned here a couple minutes ago, with the 60-mile-per-hour winds, 1-inch hail threat, this is primarily going to be over I think, Lake Gogebic right now, heading right down towards the M28 corridor near Ewan and Bruce Crossing. You can see there's a little bit of rotation in the upper levels of the atmosphere right now, but again, take note that this is about 10,000 feet off the ground. So that's almost 2 miles up in the atmosphere right there. Anything below that level, we can't see physically on radar. And so ground truth is everything. We're not sure exactly what could be mixing out of the ground, but the National Weather Service Marquette believes at the current time that there's no tornado threat with this, given that this wind here, this rotation, is elevated in nature. We'll continue to keep an eye on it. As you can see, there is a tornado warning down here in Price County, Wisconsin. And the same ingredients that are down here are also somewhat available up here in the border region of Wisconsin and Michigan. So as these storms continue off to the east, we'll have to watch out for a low-end all-hazards threat that would continue primarily towards Iron County, Michigan. As Julie mentions here, yeah, flooding is also possible. Just mention that briefly here at the beginning of this live stream. But again, flash flooding is possible tonight. These storms are continuing kind of off in the east-northeast direction with very heavy rain possible. And Pequot Valley is, which are precipitatable water in the atmosphere. It's tumbling around 2 inches, which really anything over probably 1.25 inches, 1.5 is sufficient for some low-end flash flooding. So we do have enough moisture out there tonight where we could see continuous heavy showers over the exact same area, and flash flooding is definitely a possibility. Not only tonight, but again, tomorrow rain is possible across the Upper Peninsula, so it could be continuous rain throughout the evening tonight over into tomorrow morning, even through the midday hours tomorrow. So flash flooding is definitely a possibility over the next 24 hours here in the western UP.
And in terms of the severe threat, once again, this is along a cold front here in the UP. So once this line or heavier rain eventually moves east out of your area or your location, we're not really anticipating any more severe weather after that, as that cold front will be moving through. So this is really the last main batch that we're watching here for tonight for western UP. And as Joel mentioned, nothing going on for lower Michigan tonight. Maybe an isolated thunderstorm potentially, but once again, not expecting severe weather. We'll be focusing more on lower Michigan tomorrow, where we do have that marginal risk in place, and we'll have to watch out for some pulse storms in the central and eastern portions of the state, and then the MCV that will cross over Lake Michigan and impact western and maybe even central Michigan as well. Looks like they extended that tornado warning in northern Wisconsin.
Yep, I was just about to bring that up. That tornado warning now does include a county that butts up to the UP. So you can see how this storm is starting to slide off a little bit further off to the east-northeast. So we'll have to keep an eye on it as this continues towards Vilas County, Wisconsin. I'm not sure if that's how it's pronounced. But this is going to be, I believe, National Weather Service Green Bay's jurisdiction. So they'll have to take over soon. Let me double check, make sure. Yes, so this is where Green Bay takes over. So Vilas and Oneida County, Wisconsin are both Green Bay's jurisdiction. So we'll have to watch for further alerts from them here across northern Wisconsin. And Marquette has anything north of the border here. So any further warnings in Michigan are going to come from the National Weather Service Marquette. Anything in Wisconsin is going to come from the National Weather Service Green Bay. This over here is all National Weather Service Duluth's jurisdiction zone. So right now they are believing that this entire line could be producing brief spin-up tornadoes. And again, with how much spin is out there tonight, I would not put it past them. And I would not be surprised if we see maybe a confirmed tornado or two tonight from these storms when surveying is all said and done across mainly Wisconsin. But again, the threat does continue into far southern UP tonight as well.
Good news with these storms that will continue to move off to the east and northeast will be as they will continue to get closer to the Marquette radar, which will give us a better picture on what the storms are doing, whether it's rotation, damaging winds, or hail in general. So that will be one good thing as these storms continue to move off to the east. We'll get a better rough idea. Obviously, ground truth really is trumps a lot or is really important, but as we know, the UP, it's full of trees. It's pretty difficult to get views, and we don't have too many chasers that live up here, so that's why we're kind of mainly relying on radar to communicate stuff to us. But if you guys, viewers, want to send reports of anything damaged, as long as it's safe to do so, feel free to send that to our Michigan Weather Report page, as well as to the National Weather Service of Marquette.
Good news is it looks like our upper level rotation is starting to dwindle just a little bit. We'll go ahead and check out the Marquette radar because that is a little closer now. It is still there, but it is very, very weak. I'm actually going to switch the storm motion vector on this. 253 at 29. Just to see how storm relative velocity looks. Yeah, there's a tiny little location there where there is some rotation, but again, looks very elevated. Again, the height of this beam, this is going to be old M28, just about 3 miles to the west of Ewin. The beam height here is about 8,000 feet off the ground. So anything below that height we cannot see. So ground truth is everything. If you have damage reports to send in from the Bergland, Ewin area, Lake Gogebic is also here. If you have any damage from these areas, feel free to send it in to us when you have the time and when it is safe to do so. Again, your safety is #1 priority right now. We have kind of a line of cells all up and down from Wisconsin through Michigan here tonight. All could be producing some 1-inch hail, some 60-mile-per-hour winds mixed in as well, and of course the possibility for a brief spin-up tornado. Yeah, southern UP, Escanaba definitely possible. I will say I believe Escanaba is going to be too late in the night for them to get severe. Storm's still possible overnight, but I think severe is going to be kind of confined to anywhere where there's a severe thunderstorm watch in effect, which I will turn on those alerts real quick just to show you guys. The severe thunderstorm watches are anywhere in pink, so that includes all of these counties in the western UP. It does not include Dickinson, but I would not be surprised if we do see a severe warning in Dickinson later. Just depends on how much time, how long these storms will be alive, if they can sustain themselves on leftover instability or not. But again, once it gets towards Menominee and Delta County, I think the severe risk is really going to start to dwindle down. Also over here on the YouTube side of our live, I want to thank Toby for becoming an EF1 member, donating a gifted membership to our YouTube subscribers, and also donating $1.07 to the channel. Thank you very much, Toby, for all of those. Appreciate you very much. Welcome to the team. We also have Ashley C. back for month number 15 here at MSC on YouTube, saying thank you for all you do to keep us safe. No problem, Ashley. We got you guys covered from beginning to end, no matter the peninsula, Upper Peninsula or Lower Peninsula. So again, feel free to follow along if you haven't already, no matter where you're living in the state of Michigan. And thank you very much, Ashley. Just looking at velocity radar right now for reds and greens really, really close together that are also very bright. Not seeing a whole lot. Could be a downburst ongoing on Lake Superior, but again, that is away from any civilization, so that is not of a concern. Upper level rotation continuing to kind of dwindle across the Ewin area near Bergland. And a couple heavier winds starting to move into Ironwood right now as well on the back end of this line. This cell right here is what we're looking at specifically. So Ironwood, Bessemer, prepare yourself for some strong gusty winds. Again, severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect here until 9:15 Eastern, 8:15 Central Time. It's got about another half hour. It's a line of training storms all up and down this line right now that could be producing severe hail or severe winds. Tornado possible not included with this. But we could see future warnings that do include that tag. Again, tornado warning right now, about a county away from the Upper Peninsula border. And yes, the Upper Peninsula does get tornadoes. I think the last time we saw a tornado in the Upper Peninsula was, I think, 2021, 2022. I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to go back and check the archive. But we did have tornadoes recently in the Upper Peninsula, as recent as 4 or 5 years ago. There's one year where there was only tornadoes in the Upper Peninsula, and that was I think it was a COVID year.
Yeah. Looks like the heaviest core of that severe thunderstorm warning is in portions of Ontonagon County, or entering in Ontonagon County, is now entering into portions of Highway 45 and 28. So if anyone's traveling on those two highways as it continues to move off to the east here, I would definitely be wary of it. Once again, hail, gusty winds, as well as very heavy rainfall are present with these storms, as well as lightning. So please be mindful of that. If you can, I would recommend pulling off, getting off an exit or rest area to avoid these storms here, and not an overpass. I want to stress that.
Yeah, if you haven't already, feel free to hit that like button, share the stream. You don't know who you're helping in Michigan. Even if you don't know anyone, the like button does help the algorithm boost it to fellow Michiganders and also those who are traveling from out of state. Again, there's a lot of tourists in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan this time of the year. July is the peak month. So again, you never know, a like could help boost this into the eyes of others. Again, we've had so many stories of people that just come across our streams live on their home feed. And again, that like button does help very, very much, depending on what platform you're on. Obviously, Facebook is our biggest followed platform. Otherwise, YouTube as well helps if people are watching on YouTube. Additionally, you can watch our live streams on Twitch and X tonight. Again, all 4 streams are where you're going to find all of our live streams for all severe weather coverage. Again, for those who are just tuning in, severe thunderstorm warning continues for portions of Ontonagon, Houghton, extreme northwestern Iron, and central Gogebic County here across the western UP, until about 9:15 Eastern, 8:15 Central. There is not a tornado warning in Michigan right now. Please do not say that.
Once again, this was the area of rotation that we were watching, maybe just before the live stream started, as Joel kind of mentioned, right here, just south of Bergland here. Once again, you can tell it's already been weakening here. It's the rotation features, the reds and greens, are not near as impressive as they were further back. So once again, as Joel was mentioning too, this is upper level rotation. It is pretty far away from the radar, and the fact that it's weakening as it moves off to the east suggests that there's very little to no rotation potentially with this cell as of now, as it continues to move off to the east. But once again, that can still change with a few of these cells here. The environment does suggest, an isolated tornado could happen. The SPC does have that 2% risk, as well as in our internal forecast as well. It's a very low chance, but it's a chance nevertheless.
The tornado warning right now is in effect in Wisconsin. It's not in effect in Michigan, but we could see possible tornado warnings with future cells. It just depends on if some of the stronger spin does make it into the UP of Michigan, primarily in Gogebic and Iron counties. We're going to be watching the closest for spin, but I would not rule out an isolated brief tornado across southern Houghton, Baraga County, and perhaps even Ontonagon County here in the next couple hours. We'll see. And the severe thunderstorm watch is in effect until 11 p.m. Really after 11 o'clock is when those storms will really start to die out, which is a good thing to see. But again, for the next couple hours, bear with us here if you're living or camping in the UP tonight. Got you covered. Right now, thankfully, it looks like just a deluge of rain. A couple strong to severe storms as well inside this orange box. So this includes Bessemer, Marinisco, Ewan, Bergland, Trout Creek, Rockland, up towards Winona, and Sidnaw. It also includes far eastern portions of Porcupine Mountain State Park, but for the most part, I think it's just heavy rain and lightning ongoing at the state park right now. So Porcupine Mountains, you guys are rather safe. This line is pretty much past you. However, flash flooding is a possibility tonight if you are along the shores of Lake Superior, especially if you're near a river or major tributary. So that does include like Ontonagon down towards Lake of the Clouds, White Pine, even down towards Bessemer, Ironwood, Hurley, Connorville. All these locations across the western UP could be at risk for some flash flooding later tonight into tomorrow, as well as rain will continue overnight through the midday hours on Wednesday.
Again, we appreciate everyone that's tuning in. Feel free to hit that like and subscribe button. We are getting pretty close to 60,000 subscribers here on MSC. So I believe we're only probably under 400 away from hitting 60. I mean, so see if we hit that tonight. But once again, we appreciate everyone's support through this page, whether it's whenever we're live for the UP, Lower Michigan, whether it's just one severe thunderstorm warning or 10 severe thunderstorm warnings, you name it, we're live when there's any severe weather that's happening across the state.
Absolutely. It's our goal to be live from beginning to end, so as Drew mentioned, feel free to hit that follow button or subscribe button if you're watching from Michigan or surrounding states. If you're visiting on vacation, welcome to Michigan. Again, tonight we do have severe weather across the western UP, and if you're in the Lower Peninsula tomorrow, that is when severe weather is expected here in the mitten part of the state. If you put your hand up, you can kind of figure out where you're located on the map there. It's one thing about living in Michigan. You can always point to your hand on the map in terms of where you're going or where you live. Fun fact for those who might be visiting from out of state. So welcome to the state if you're visiting. Otherwise, again, if you are living here in Michigan, that is what to expect over the next 24 to 36 hours. Severe weather tomorrow in the Lower Peninsula, but tonight it's a western UP show. We'll keep an eye on this as the storms continue across the UP. Right now, our severe warning, our storms that are severe are approaching that US 45 corridor from Rockland all the way down towards Watersmeet. We do have a couple cells starting to fire here near Watersmeet, down towards Land of Lakes even. So we'll have to watch for this extended development, maybe sort of a tail end, Charlie. We'll have to watch that. And speaking of support, we also have a $50 super chat a short while ago from Fun Times here on YouTube saying, hope you all stay safe with these storms. Thank you for keeping Michigan safe and for the late nights you have to endure on all occasions. And coffee to wish list, and I will certainly buy, add coffee, sorry. And I will certainly buy it for all of you on your behalf. Much love and thanks. I'm not sure if anyone's a coffee fan here. I usually run in straight fumes. I don't know about you, Drew.
Nah, I'm not huge into coffee.
It's usually,
my mom is, but
as I say, it's usually energy drinks.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's either water or some sort of Gatorade pop or occasional energy drink. But on nights like these where it's just more of a few hour live stream kind of a thing, I usually can be fine just without anything. But yeah, not really a coffee drinker.
And for those who are curious, our wish list is available on our Linktree. Linktree is linktr.ee/ I think MI Storm Chasers. I'm sure one of the mods will link it in the chat. Or yeah, Julia will link the direct link to the Amazon. Perfect. You can gift us anything on the wish list. You can also, what you can do is you can add something into your cart and then add something else into your cart and remove the thing that's on the wish list. So you can basically gift us anything you want via that wish list. Again, it does help us with our streams. It's all materials that go right back into providing this content for you guys. So feel free to get stuff on the wish list. Otherwise, feel no need. Again, the best way to support our channel here for free is to hit that like button. Speaking of which, we also have Julie back for month number 14, also one of our mods here, saying please like, share, and subscribe. All free to do and helps get this in front of those who may be unaware. Thank you very much, Julie, for your support of the channel. So rather quiet out there right now. The velocity scan's not really showing a whole lot of craziness in terms of damaging winds. Correlation coefficient wise, there's not a whole lot in terms of hail either out there. We're looking for these regions where this pink starts to turn to reds and yellows. Really the greens and even towards the blues is where you start to see the heavier hail. For example, down here near Mercer, Wisconsin, that would be a sign right there of some stronger hail. But in Michigan, not a whole lot right now. Maybe a couple cells moving towards Lance that could be producing some pea-sized hail. But overall, I think this warning, I mean, we'll see. it's good to have it there just in case we can't see anything, again, being so far from the radar site. But again, this is rather meager at best right now, and the ZDR radar, which is now the product displaying on your screen, measures the buoyancy of the updrafts. Besides this line that is stretching from Ewing down to Watersmeet, most of these cells are starting to rain themselves out in terms of a stronger updraft, so more of a rain threat and less of a severe weather threat. Across the 4-county region here of Ontonagon, Houghton, Iron, and Gogebic.
Just wanted to mention this. SVC just updated their day one outlook today for tonight. They did get rid of the flight risk in the UP for tonight. They do have enough confidence to do that. They currently have a marginal risk for portions of central and western UP with only a wind threat. So they did get rid of the 2% TOR threat as well as any hail threat. So it's mainly the highest basically severe threat they're expecting, if there would be a severe storm, would be the wind. But once again, still have maybe that 1 or 2% chance of a spin-up tornado. But once again, it's less than 2%. So that's why they don't have that 2%, that 2 to 4% outlook. And the same thing kind of goes with hail, less than a 5% chance of severe hail being reported in a 25-mile radius.
Wow.
I'll read the quick discussion here for just Michigan and Wisconsin. Line of thunderstorms is tracking eastward along and south of the Wisconsin upper Michigan state line. These storms have produced sporadic damaging wind gusts over the last few hours and are probably past peak. Nevertheless, a few severe storms will remain possible for another 2 to 3 hours. As their updated forecast outlook. Joel, you're muted.
Sorry. I don't know why I did that. The thing I was mentioning, now that I have to repeat myself here, is about the comment about Wisconsin coverage. Yeah, I realized I was muted.
It happens.
So for those who are wondering, so I know there's a comment here about Iron County, Wisconsin. Again, we don't do anything in terms of like huge Wisconsin coverage, but there are a couple pages out there that you could probably tune into. I just don't know any off the top of my head. But if you are in Iron County, Wisconsin right now, there's a strong thunderstorm along the M51 corridor. So that's Mercer up to Hurley here on your Ironwood, Michigan. Anywhere in those orange boxes, we do have an extension of the severe thunderstorm warning now for Vilas and Oneida County in Wisconsin as well. That's going to be for 60-mile-per-hour winds, penny-sized hail, and they also have tornado possible with that. Otherwise, it's just a wait-and-see game at the current time to see if there's anything that's going to strengthen. But the only thing I can see right now is perhaps a little bit of an RIJ developing in Gideon, Wisconsin. So that would be heading towards extreme southern Iron County, Wisconsin. And eventually, if that continues to mix down towards the surface, we could see it close in on Mercer, Presque Isle, Wisconsin, and eventually Land O'Lakes and Watersmeet if that continues to move east, east-northeast. If you're watching here on YouTube, Facebook tonight, feel free to say hi, drop a comment, let us know where you're watching from, how you spent your Tuesday evening. Or Tuesday midday. It was a little hot one out there. Temperatures in the 80s and 90.
That's kind of going to be kind of the hint for tomorrow is we're going to have more regions, especially in lower Michigan, that will definitely get hot and humid. Dew points will be in the 70s throughout a good portion of lower Michigan. So the return of humidity will be back, and that will be in place for our storms as well to take advantage of. So. We also have, I think, Thursday we'll have some leftover humidity as well. And then we're keeping an eye on next week. Obviously, by the time we get to next week, there's a lot of variability in terms of how things could play out. But the overall pattern does suggest that we could have an active and very humid and hot air mass that will be moving in that will basically give us some really, really warm conditions throughout the whole entire state. But we'll have more details on that in the coming days here. Once we get more confidence in how things will exactly play out.
Yeah, the HRRR run for tonight has this line of storms fizzling out by midnight. So it's probably got another lifespan, about 2 to 3 more hours left here, maybe even less than that if this continues to start to look weaker. But at the current time, we're still in severe weather ops. Gogebic, Ontonagon, portions of southern Houghton, as well as northwestern Iron County in the UP of Michigan. And this warning is in effect for 10 more minutes. After that, we'll have to see if there's any extensions downstream to the east.
Keeping an eye on that cluster that is in that severe thunderstorm warning in southeast Ontonagon County. Nothing too impressive that's standing out to me, but we'll see if it takes advantage of the environment ahead of it. So, because it's definitely kind of growing a little bit more upscale. So we'll see if it starts to bow out or starts to develop a more pronounced halo core in the near future here.
So for those just tuning in, severe weather tonight currently ongoing in the western UP. This is live radar as of 9:05 Eastern, 8:05 Central. In the lower peninsula, it's a nice clear night out there. Enjoy it, because tomorrow severe weather is going to ramp up for portions of the state. See Park Falls in here. Park Falls was in a tornado warning earlier. That has been canceled. The rotation has started to go away. This is starting to become more of a Boeing segment across portions of extreme northern Wisconsin, heading towards perhaps extreme southeastern Gogebic County and eventually Iron County. And that Iron County is in Michigan and not Wisconsin. Kind of the same issue that we have in Michigan and Indiana, where we have 2 St. Joseph counties and 2 Cass counties right next to each other for Indiana and Michigan. So it's always imperative that we explain which one is under the warning when it's very close to the border like that. But in terms of Southwest Michigan, nothing there tonight. But for future weather or for future severe weather coverage, it is always, a little interesting to have duplicate county names right next to each other. Also, any pink boxes you see on the screen are severe thunderstorm watches, and those are in effect through 11 p.m. Eastern. So another hour and 50-ish or so left on these boxes if they are not canceled sooner. You can see there's also a lot of rain moving in tonight for the UP. Flash flooding threat may develop across the region. So if you're near any major streams, please be on alert for flash flooding. Second line off Lake Superior. Right now, it looks like there's a little bit of maybe a tiny MCV up there, mesoscale convective vortex, but it's very, very weak. I believe this is probably just going to be nothing in terms of severe, more of just heavy rains moving into the area, the way that this line is getting fed to the north. You get a lot of stratiform rain also back off to the west as well, kind of trending over these same locations.
Yeah, I would agree. I'd say maybe some scattered, thunder and lightning with a few, with some of these heavier rain showers, but nothing really severe-wise. It's just the environment, too, just doesn't look that impressive. It'd just be more of a flooding risk if there be anything, for the most part. So, yeah. But yeah, kind of like what Joel was mentioning, we're kind of watching that bowing segment in extreme northern portions of northern Wisconsin. It's starting to bow out, so that would suggest slight increase of damaging winds potentially. Radar, it's kind of in a tricky spot with the Duluth radar and Marquette radar, so getting accurate measurements via radar is pretty difficult to do right now just because of how far away it is from the radar beam. But once it moves more to the east, it will get into better coverage, and then we'll get a better idea on kind of how this line will kind of transgress it with the environment that it's in right now. For those that are curious about our storm chances tomorrow, Joel has, I believe, forecast already posted for tomorrow. So if you guys want to look at that, our mods will link it in as well. But once again, it's on Facebook. We'll be talking more about tomorrow once tomorrow comes. So basically after this live stream. But right now we're going to be mainly just kind of focused on the ongoing severe weather in western UP right now.
Yep. Cells continue to fire along the US 45 corridor here, but again, nothing really too concerning in terms of wind, in terms of hail. Let's look at VIL. Yeah, there's not really much of a hail core in any of these cells at this current time, but again, I think they're just going to let the severe thunderstorm warning expire here. Yeah. What's up?
They just canceled it.
Perfect. They canceled it before they let it. They couldn't let it run out. They wanted to expire at 5 minutes early. There we go. So no more severe thunderstorm warnings in Michigan, but we do have that severe thunderstorm watch in effect through 11. As a result, we'll probably stay live here for probably another hour or two just to watch and see how these storms develop, especially since we still have severe right next to the Michigan border with this line of cells along this is Wisconsin, US 51 here across the Mercer region as far north as Van Buskirk up there in the border of Wisconsin and Michigan, eventually heading towards Marinisco, and eventually off towards the east towards Watersmeet as well.
I had to interrupt you just to show the precise timing of your wording right there, Joel.
Yep, all good.
Yeah, the UP should mostly be good in terms of avoiding severe weather for tomorrow, especially western UP. Now, there could be extreme portions of eastern and kind of southern portions of the UP.
Yep.
That could get a few storms potentially. Once again, SPC does have a marginal, and I believe the slight risk just skims. I want to make sure you get this county right here.
Menominee.
Yeah, that county. It might, I don't know, I have to zoom in onto it, but regardless, there are a few counties in extreme southern UP as well as eastern UP that are in that marginal risk. But once again, it's mainly going to be a lower Michigan threat. If I'll say it quick now, if there's a region that looks to be the most interesting in terms of the better chances of severe weather in Michigan tomorrow, I would say probably more western Michigan. Especially in that northwestern sector, County Warren area for Grand Rapids. But overall, The main or better severe weather confidence right now seems to be more in southern Wisconsin, where that slight risk is. But we'll see what they do with that risk tonight, as we have more models that will continue to load in, as well as helpful data that will load in as well. So once again, right now we're focusing on potential severe weather that's happening. Right now we just have that severe thunderstorm watch in place. Currently no severe thunderstorm warnings, but I wouldn't be shocked if we still could have severe weather tonight, like Joel mentioned, with that line that's literally hugging along the Wisconsin and Upper Peninsula of Michigan, hugging along that border here. And once again, damaging winds would be the main threat if there would be one.
So we got fun times with a $20 super chat in here saying, Joel, the energy drinks you wish for should be here in a few days, depending on how fast it ships. Hope these help. Thank you very much, fun times. They'll end up at Ryan's place. He might use them, but we appreciate it very much. Someone let Ryan know. But yeah, appreciate it very much. Usually I am also like Drew. I usually have a bunch of Gatorade. On occasion I've drank Red Bulls before, but I usually stock up on electrolytes, which is a little bit healthier than energy drinks.
Yeah. I usually save energy drinks or just like pop drinks when I do Aurora chasing. I don't know if any of you guys are huge Northern Light fans, but on nights where I go out and chase some Northern Light potential and I'm staying up until like 3 in the morning, that's what I have to use at that point. Because then at that point, when you're just sitting around in a car in an open field waiting for it to happen, it can get pretty tiring. So usually when I'm chasing, it's more water, because when I'm storm chasing occasionally, it's just I'm focused and locked in, and usually water kind of clears up my head more than a pop or a soda drink or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, during a live stream, it just kind of depends on how I'm feeling. So currently I have nothing with me tonight, but I'm currently fine right now. It's nothing too stressful going on right now. So
Yeah.
Also, that makes me wonder what all the other guys do, like Chandler and Ryan.
Right. Also taking a look at radar here, that rear inflow jet kind of is trying to pick up a little bit more as this storm continues to advance towards Vilas County, Wisconsin. This may produce a severe warning here very soon, probably within the next 20 minutes for southeastern Gogebic County, probably from Watersmeet, as this continues straight to the east and eventually towards Amasa, or shoot, I think it is Amasa, if I recall. I'm trying to remember from the last live stream.
What town is it, or where is it at?
Amasa. I think it's Amasa.
Amasa. Would it be Amasa too? Is that another way?
I remember saying Amasa and it was wrong, so it's got to be Amasa.
Okay.
Michigan and their phonetic soundings of towns, I tell you. Even as native Michiganders, there's always towns that just always, you never can get right, no matter how many times you say it.
Yeah, this line definitely has a lot of lightning. Probably has a really good view. I wouldn't be surprised, guys, if this has a developing shelf cloud with it too. Definitely wouldn't be shocked if it's an ominous-looking cloud, especially with how strong that rain band is, with probably some hail in it as well, if I had to guess. I know with it being far away, sometimes getting an accurate hail reading can be a little difficult, but it's been continuously increasing here in these past few scans here. So definitely wouldn't be shocked if we get a severe thunderstorm warning here shortly.
I will say the National Weather Service in Duluth has canceled a severe warning before the storms even left the county. Unless it expired at 9:15. Let me check. Yeah, it just expired. It just ran out of time. So
Okay.
it ran out of time, but the storms are still in Iron County, Wisconsin. They're moving into Vilas County, Wisconsin in the next couple minutes. Okay, it is Amasaw. That's what I thought. Perfect, thank you. Julie with a $5 super chat here on YouTube saying pickle juice is a superior electrolyte. Don't read this one off. I can confirm actually, and it actually helped me with a headache once. So, pickle juice, everyone. If you ever have a bad headache, that isn't a natural remedy, I guess you could say. So shout out to Julie, aka Michigan Pickle Chasers, here on YouTube, one of our mods.
As a side note, I'm looking at all the counties here in Wisconsin. I didn't know the one that was by Green Bay and Lake Michigan was called Door County. That just stuck out to me. I just thought that was interesting.
Mm-hmm. There's also Menominee County, Michigan, and Menominee County, Wisconsin, 2 counties away from each other up there as well. So two duplicates. And then Iron County, Wisconsin is also a county away from Iron County, Michigan. So it makes it fun.
Looks like they also have a Chippewa County in Wisconsin as well. Michigan has one as well. There's all kinds of counties that they copy off each other. Chippewa County in Wisconsin is like more kind of western, northwestern, central western Wisconsin, and then the Chippewa County in Michigan is in eastern Michigan, eastern UP. I mean.
Yep. Always fun to read geography stuff. As a geography major myself. My second major, by the way. I'm obviously a meteorology major, but also graduated with a major in geographic information sciences, systems, whatever it's called, GIS, and also minored in math. So all the fun stuff.
Math. There's a lot of math in meteorology.
Retweet.
It's not basic math. It's like calc 3, calc 4, the nitty gritty math.
Yep. Yes, Iron County, Michigan, you guys are currently under the gun for severe weather tonight. Again, we're watching this cell primarily over in Vilas County, Wisconsin. That is kind of riding the border now of Vilas County and Gogebic County, Michigan. So this is going to continue east-northeast, pretty much directly towards the western side of Iron County. If it continues to move a little bit more further northeast, it could skip Iron County and go to the north, which would be a problem for places north because that would just add to the flooding threat. So at the current time, to avoid more of a flooding threat, you'd probably want the storm to go more east, unfortunately, towards Iron County. But again, I think no matter what happens tonight, I think there's still going to be some flash flooding overnight and into the early morning hours tomorrow across the western UP. My dad is asking me to pronounce yogurt. I pronounced it differently back when I was younger. There's a bunch of different things I did not have a great time pronouncing when I was younger, and that was one of them. I think I said yogurt or something like that. So, there you go.
One of my siblings used to say, instead of ketchup, like chipette or something like that. That wasn't me, but one of my siblings did. That was just something that I always have creative ways of saying things when we're younger, and still may be the case as we get older.
Yep.
We struggle to pronunciate Michigan towns and counties.
Yeah. Everyone had a childhood kind of similar to that. It happens. Yeah, so if you're definitely if you're watching Iron County, definitely want to be on alert. The storms are still moving rather slow, about 30 to 35 miles per hour. So it'll be a little bit before they get to Iron County, but they'll be here before you know it. So prepare now. Make sure if you do have a safe place to go, you want to enact your weather-ready safe plan in a moment's notice. If you are in a mobile home, near trees especially, you do want to relocate with these storms moving in tonight if possible. If not, when severe weather does strike, you do want to make way to an interior room that is very sturdy. A bathroom, usually a closet's going to work. Usually those are interior rooms. And then laying in the bathtub is going to put an extra wall between you and the outside. Even though it's like a porcelain tub, obviously it is still an extra set of walls. And so that is an extra protection between you and the outdoors. And obviously you want to protect yourself with something over your head. But again, any way possible you can be away from exterior walls or wide open spaces for downed trees for damaging winds. That is the best possible case. Also be away from windows as well in case there is some wind-driven hail with these storms tonight as well. Now the SPC did drop their hail risk and their tornado threat. But again, the ingredients are still there for, I would say, at least the next hour or two for something in terms of hail or tornadoes to spin up. But again, it's not likely. It's just still possible. It's not zero.
Yeah. Still currently no new severe thunderstorm warnings or special weather statements for the UP. This line continues to mature and off to the north here. With its course, so I'm really intrigued here what Marquette will do here in the coming minutes here. Right now we're mainly focused in Gogebic County right now.
Which doesn't have a warning, but it could shortly, as you're mentioning.
Yeah.
Would pretty much be off to the east of Bessemer. So that entire US 2 corridor and the far eastern portions of Gogebic County, we're watching very closely here for a warning within the next maybe 5 to 15 minutes. Again, there's a nice jet shooting across US 51 right now here in Iron County, Wisconsin. And that continues off to the east-northeast. So that's going to be pretty much heading straight towards Watersmeet, maybe north side Watersmeet. So far southern Onondaga County could also be in the risk for the storm if it continues to sag a little bit further off to the northeast. So even Ewin, Bruce Crossing, Trout Creek, maybe if the storm continues that direction. Mobile home and the tub is next to the exterior wall. Do you have an interior room? If you have any sort of interior room, that would help. If not, again, the number one to remember in severe weather happening at your place is always protect your head. So, I mean, if you guys remember from back in the days when you guys went to school, they always had you crouch in the hallway, protect your head, put the hands over the head. And that is because blunt force trauma is a number one injury in terms of severe weather. Things fall on your head, they can cause serious brain injuries, even worse. So as long as you're protecting your head, crouching down, make yourself as small as possible. That is going to do yourself a great favor. But either way, the tub is an extra set of walls. So even though the tub is on an exterior wall, it is still an extra wall between you and the outside. So a bathtub would still work even if it is against the exterior walls. Because it is an extra set of walls. And again, you can also put something over top of you if you are in the bathtub. But right now, there is no severe warnings for the Upper Peninsula. Nothing to be concerned about right now. We're not going to go road by road yet until this line gets into Michigan if needed. But if you are anywhere in the region of Marinisco, I would be on alert here soon. as it looks like there could be some gusty winds of 60 coming. As a reminder, that is the only hazard that the SBC has updated for tonight, is just 60-mile-per-hour winds. But, you know, we're watching all hazards. As long as you know where your trees are on the outside of your house as well, just keep an eye on them. If you know the walls next to any trees, you definitely want to be kind of shying away from them. But again, that tub will work better than, you know, just putting yourself out in the open. Thank you guys for liking and following tonight. Again, you can breathe easy right now. There's no severe weather across the Upper Peninsula. Take a nice deep breath. We got you guys covered here, just in case there are an extra couple set of warnings. But again, this threat should really start to wind down within the next hour and a half, which is when the severe thunderstorm watch will expire. Giving it to you straight right now. There's no severe weather, but there is perhaps some damaging winds starting to move in towards Marinisco. So we're keeping an eye on it.
As we've been kind of mentioning throughout this live stream too, we're going to continue to see widespread rainfall and heavy rainfall at times with any of these clusters as they continue to move off to the east here. And once again, we're still alive because we still do think this line that Joel's been mentioning a lot still has that potential of producing severe weather. And we still have probably a good hour for sure of that potential being realized. But once again, as we get dragged on further and further during the night, the instability values will continue to drop. And once again, instability is one of the 4 ingredients we need for severe weather. And if you don't have enough instability, you can't really get proper severe weather.
See, how does this look from Duluth's radar? I'm curious because it's about the same distance away. Yeah, it's starting to get a little bit of a curious because that RIJ is pushing it out a little bit, Drew.
Yeah.
So it pushes out too much. We could see some kind of like bookend-ish features start to pop up. So a very low-end tornado threat, but I think at this current time it's just a damaging wind threat, which does appear to be on the increase, just ever so slightly here across northern Vilas County and extreme southern and southeastern Gogebic County in the minutes to come. We're keeping an eye on it. Again, there's also reds and greens close to each other on radar here, but at the current time, this appears to be just damaging winds. The severe thunderstorm warning on the Wisconsin side of the border does have tornado possible in the tag, but the primary hazards are 60-mile-per-hour winds and penny-sized hail. It does appear there's a good hail core in there as well from the Duluth radar. As mentioned on the correlation coefficient on the right side of your screen, we're looking for those yellows, greens, and sometimes blues in the atmosphere, which is non-uniform meteorological objects tumbling around, so that would be hail. And as happening, near Presque Isle there. I just cannot control my mouse, I guess. So Presque Isle, Wisconsin, and perhaps up here towards Marinisco as well, although a little bit smaller. VIL does have a little bit of a core here. This is approaching M64 from Marinisco down to the border.
Once again, we have a new mesoanalysis update. Looking at Cape, right now the better instability is downstream of this. The only problem I'm starting to kind of realize here is the line is moving so slow that I don't even know if it'll be able to reach that environment. in time before it starts to fade away. Before an hour ago, we had 2,500 CAPE in central portions of the UP. Now it's down to 2,000, or a small pocket of 2,000. So it's kind of like a race against time here. Will this line kind of catch up to that better environment and take advantage of it? Or will it continue to slowly meander its way eastward, and then that environment kind of just falls apart, which then would cause these storms to fall apart potentially? But kind of like a wait and see thing, but just an observation that I'm kind of noticing here behind the scenes.
Someone's typing in chat here, and it wasn't me with the MSD account. Is Ryan in here by chance? I'm curious. Who's Ryan? Yeah, it is Ryan. The Ryan wheel's coming out.
Ryan. Ryan's the guy with the duck. The rubber duck. That's what he's known for, right, Joel?
Mm-hmm. Oh, here comes the cascade of Ryan wheels for our YouTube members. You can also get yourself the Ryan wheel if you want to become a YouTube member. Otherwise, no pressure. But again, it's there in case you want to use it. Yeah, thank you for tuning in, Josh. We do this all the time. We are coming up on our 3-year anniversary here of operations at Michigan Storm Chasers. We started doing these streams 2 years ago in 2023. And we have not missed a single warning in the state of Michigan since the end of 2023. That's when we really started to hone in on doing our lives 24/7, 365 whenever we can. We have not missed a beat. So if you're a Michigander, haven't followed along yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that follow button or the subscribe button, depending on what platform you are watching on. How long, I'm curious to see, while we wait for any severe warnings to pop up here, how long has everyone been following us here, depending on what platform you're on? YouTube, Facebook. Twitch is one of our newer platforms. We also have X that we're live on as well right now. How long have you guys known about Michigan Storm Chasers? And if you're new here, feel free to say hello and welcome and introduce yourself. We love to see our new members in here introduce themselves all the time, and hopefully you guys come back. So let us know.
Looks like they extended that severe thunderstorm warning in Vilas County.
Yep.
In Wisconsin.
60-mile-per-hour winds, tornado possible, continues.
As this line kind of continues to move off to the east, I know I mentioned it once or twice already, but we'll get a better idea on kind of what's all happening. Storms will get closer to the radar, which then the radar will have better measurements of what the storm is doing. We're closer and closer to the low levels here. If there's anything funny going on with the storm, and what I mean by funny, I mean by rotation.
Months since April, a couple months. Moved to the UP for college. Welcome to the Upper Peninsula. I'm assuming either probably Northern Michigan or Michigan Tech, the main colleges up there. There are a couple other universities. I know. I think Findlay is up. Findlay or is it Findlay? No, I'm thinking of a different one. There's a different smaller college up there as well, and Houghton Hancock. I left my mind. But welcome to the state. 2 years, Cindy. Remember, Cindy's been around for a while. Tommy's been here for 2 years. Rock been here for a couple months. Welcome in. Catherine here for 20 minutes. Welcome in, Catherine. Hopefully stick around for more coverage in the future. We're here to cover you guys no matter the peninsula. year and a half since the Portage tornado last year, 15 months. You guys are awesome. Thank you for sharing your join stories. And it does look like rotation is starting to increase just a tad here for Presque Isle. But again, it's a little elevated still. But again, the reds and greens looking to get a little brighter here and closer together. So if you're in Waters Meet, again, this is heading your way just south of Marinisco. That US 2 quarter between Marinisco and Waters Meet is going to be on a heads up alert for this. There's no severe warnings in the state of Michigan right now. But just from our meteorological standpoint, we do see perhaps a little bit of embedded and heightened rotation starting to occur within this line. Again, a little bit of a RIJ picking up, pushing it out. And what happens when it pushes that storm out, the northern half of that curls back into itself. When you have that northern end curl back into itself, that's when rotation starts to spin up. Well, we've seen this many times with these isolated storms along the line. So we're watching out for this one specifically as well, as it's right in the vicinity of Presque Isle, Wisconsin. Unless they pronounce it differently there, it could be Presque Isle. And again, it's going to be heading towards very rural portions of southern Gogebic County. There's basically no road names out here. I see FS Road 6815. These are all 2-track roads and snowmobile trails out here to the southwest of Waters Meet. Yeah, that's what it was. Finlandia. I knew it started with an F. I couldn't figure out which one it was. I remember going past Finlandia when it was still a university, but it looks like it has been absorbed. So, gotcha. Thank you for that. Kim's been here for a year as well. Chrome enjoying a good night on Torch Lake. Enjoy it. Iron County again. And there's our new warning coming in. I figured that was coming in just a second. Iron County, you guys are going to be up next. But right now, new severe thunderstorm warning coming in for Gogebic County. I wonder whose radar is going to pop up on first here.
Yeah, hasn't popped up mine. Nope, now it just did. Be for 60-mile-per-hour winds. These for severe wind only.
Yeah.
No tornado possible tiger and hail under an inch in diameter. That would be for Gogebic County, eastern portions of it at least. So yeah.
I figured you're probably going to get that graphic there unless Ryan's on it.
Yeah, we'll see who. Ryan's already beat me to it.
Yep. Yeah, welcome in ZX. Been here for a minute. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning that has just popped in on the center of your screen. This orange box portions of the US 2 corridor here in Gogebic County. The National Weather Service in Marquette has issued this severe thunderstorm warning until 9:30 p.m. Central Time. At 8:38 Central Time, a severe thunderstorm was located near Border Lakes natural area, or 25 miles to the southeast of Ironwood. That's pretty far away. Moving east at 35 miles per hour. It's 60-mile-per-hour winds, as Drew mentioned. Radar indicated. For your protection, move to an interior room on the lowest floor of a building. Locations impacted include Thousand Island Lake. Isn't that a dressing? It sounds tasty. Thousand Island is a salad dressing. Am I wrong? Interesting. I just thought that was cool. That's the thing on here. Thousand Island Lake, Presque Isle Reservoir, and Pomeroy Lake. And again, 60-mile-per-hour winds. They do not have the tornado possible tag on here, but it does show signs of some broad rotation in the upper levels, so it is worth mentioning. But again, this does look like it is quite the severe wind threat as this jet pushes into the backside of the storm here. You can see this entire inflow region, or RIJ region, extends all the way back across Iron County, Wisconsin, and pushes in all the way through Mercer and to the front of the storm here near Presque Isle. Thousand Island stare. I'm not eating food, don't worry. For those who are new here, we always mention this every stream. Anytime someone goes to eat here on staff, usually it triggers a severe warning. I'm not sure if anyone else on our team is watching behind the scenes if they just went to go get food, but we do have a new severe warning that has just popped up within the last 2 minutes for Gogebic County. So I don't know. It wasn't me. It wasn't Drew. Maybe someone else. It is a salad dressing. Okay, that's what I figured. So Thousand Island Lake. Pretty sure the lake is not made up of Thousand Island dressing, but that would be cool if it was. This is going to continue again off to the east, east-northeast, about 30 to 35. So the US 2 corridor between Marinisco and Watersmeet, Michigan.
Who knows, Joel? Maybe it was Ryan behind the scenes.
Could be. Live off the woods on M33, still cleaning up after ice storm, hoping for some storms. With the way the trees are barren from the ice storm we had this spring, the winds right now would bring down some trees, especially more that there is open space out there. So if you are hoping for severe storms, maybe you'll get some tomorrow there in M33 corridor. But I think the main threat is going to be southern and central Michigan primarily for your Wednesday time frame. But fingers crossed if that's what you're hoping for. Welcome in. Not going to make a Thousand Island emoji. Not right now. We also have Jennifer. Love your coverage. Just found you guys last month. Thank you for tuning in. Man, that is very suspicious. So I'm going to tune away from the comments here real quick. That area right here, about 2 miles to the east of Presque Isle, Wisconsin, right on the border. It does look a little tight, but again, it's hard to tell when we don't have any radar out here. But again, this is moving into Michigan now as it stands. There's no tornado possible tag on this storm. But with my two own eyes here and with Drew's eyes, I mean, you could probably say this is at least some upper level rotation that's starting to maybe intensify a little bit more.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. Green's heading towards the radar, which is heading towards the Marquette, and then red's away. So you can definitely see it too with the green. It's definitely starting to pick up a bit here, my opinion at least. So
yeah,
and we'll get a better picture too as it continues to get closer to the radar.
And again, it's tough because this is 9,700 feet off the ground. So anything below 9,700 feet, we can't see on radar. So we're flying blind anywhere below that. So that's like 1.5 miles, even over almost close to 2 miles of the atmosphere where we can't see what's happening below that level. So it's possible that we could have 70-mile-per-hour winds happening at the surface, or it's possible that this is just all elevated. Given the fact that there has not been any storms down here today, I would be more inclined to say that this is closer to the ground than elevated. There is a damage report here from trees and power lines down across Vilas County, Wisconsin to the south. So I would imagine this is also mixing down to the ground up here in the Wisconsin-Michigan border region, heading towards Watersmeet as mentioned. New update there does increase it a little bit more. Again, on radar here, we're looking at the reds and greens. So the reds, as mentioned, are winds heading away from the radar site. Greens are winds heading towards. And when they're close together like that, that is where we would see tighter rotation, and the higher the color contours, the stronger the rotation. So this is kind of a medium range, broad-ish rotation that is starting to show a little bit of higher intensities right now. It's getting close to that criteria where we could see maybe perhaps a tornado warning, but I think at the current time the 60-mile-per-hour wind severe thunderstorm warning does suffice for that, just given that it is so far away from the radar site.
For those that are wondering, we're really just kind of watching this area, really across the UP. Just looks like heavy rainfall and thunderstorms. And lower Michigan is dry, I believe, right now. So, yeah, it's really just this little corridor that we're keeping an eye on right now. for any severe weather. For just a disclaimer in terms of anything else happening across the state. So
yeah. Looks like a tiny little downburst here near Pelkey, Michigan. Not severe by any means, but looks like it's raining itself out. A couple gusty winds heading towards Sidnaw, just to the east of Kenton. But the primary focus right now is this strong to severe thunderstorm that is moving into Michigan in southern and southeastern Gogebic County in the Upper Peninsula. Again, Lower Peninsula tonight, no threat there. This is just an Upper Peninsula threat. That has increased again. Latest scan.
Yeah. Looks. Yeah. No, that's definitely. Yeah, it's definitely increased. It's interesting too because reflectivity is also increased around that area as well. That's definitely something. If I'd be downstream in Waters Meet area, I would definitely be keeping an eye on this here. The fact that the past 2 or 3 scans have kind of strengthened this rotation, I would definitely be wary of this as it continues to move off to the east here. Because once again, we are starting to see, even if there isn't, a ongoing tornado, let's just say right now, regardless, that is some pretty gusty winds. Yeah.
Yeah. And here's your base velocity here. This is just the normalized winds within there. Again, with that rear inflow jet that has kicked into that storm and boated out like that, there's a pixel here at 9,300 feet off the ground of 82 miles per hour. So again, it's, fairly elevated, but again, it's showing signs of intensifying as it continues on. So it's likely that this storm is going to start mixing to the ground if it hasn't already. This is probably about 25 miles to the west of Watersmeet right now. And again, moving at 30 miles per hour, it'll probably be there within the next 45 minutes. So if you're in Watersmeet, you have about 40 minutes to prepare. If this continues to stay together, of course, and if it does, again, 45 minutes there in Watersmeet, I would expect some sort of maybe extended severe warning downstream within the next 5 minutes. But again, as it stands right now, the storm is well inside of its borders of the severe thunderstorm warning here in southern Gogebic County. But again, this has shown signs of intensifying in the last 3 to 4 scans. Your rotation there continues to show its signs of life. Even if it is elevated, it is an entire mesocyclone right now that is rotating around. So if it's not mixing out of the surface, this entire structure is rotating itself now that that Boeing segment has pushed it in on itself to where the point it is rotating around. So you can see there's a giant RFD on the front side, and then you have the big surge on the back side here from the RIJ, or inflow jet. A lot of moving parts, essentially, that's causing it to kind of spin up briefly in this area. I'm going to look at Meso behind the scenes here just to see what it looks like. Oh yeah, that is a photograph that does show signs of it could produce a tornado. So we do want to be on alert here for an all hazards threat within the next couple minutes. But fingers crossed this does start to die out. Unfortunately, this is maintaining its strength at the current time. Feels weird having y'all's eyes on us up here go away. We wish we could, but unfortunately, it's not the name of our game. We're going to cover both peninsulas no matter what. So, unfortunately, right now for portions of Gogebic County, this is for y'all. North Land O'Lakes heading towards Watersmeet. Again, fingers crossed this starts to show signs of dying down, but at the current time it is maintaining its strength. In terms of damaging winds, at the very least, perhaps some wind and hail mixing in as well.
Yeah, regardless, as we were kind of mentioning, these are some really strong winds, even though it's associated with that rotation via on the base velocity. That is some pretty gusty winds, and we're not expecting 80 plus mile per hour is fully reaching the ground. But regardless, definitely some pretty gusty, if not severe winds, in my opinion. They're probably mixing in the ground somewhere. All these inland lakes are at. I'd see on my radar at least just a bunch of scattered ponds and lakes throughout here. Not a lot of, not really populated, but I would definitely be aware of this around the Waters Meet area here as it slowly works its way east, especially on Highway 2 here, probably would be in closer proximity to it. So if anyone's traveling on Highway 2 west of Waters Meet, I would definitely be wary of this. Try to avoid it if possible. If you can't, get off an exit, go into a sturdy building to take shelter from these winds, as well as this area of rotation as it moves off to the east.
Carl is watching from Iron River. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Thankfully, down there in Iron River, the storm looks to be moving more to your north, so you guys should be good. But severe thunderstorm watch does remain in effect until 11 Eastern, 10 p.m. Central for y'all. The storm down here in Vilas County could be heading your way, but I think the primary focus right now is going to be just off to your north. We'll keep an eye on it as it progresses. If you know anyone, obviously up here in the area, especially over towards Watersmeet right now, this is going to be the city to be on alert for within the next half hour. Again, these are moving off to the east about 30 to 35, and it's about 15 to 20 miles away. It actually is probably closer to 15 to 12 miles away now from Watersmeet. Again, moving at 30 miles per hour, so it's still about just under a half hour away now. So if you know anyone Watersmeet, feel free to send this stream over to them, like and share, show you care. Whatever you got to do. Again, 60 mile per hour winds likely occurring within this storm. And we are watching some broad rotation in the area as well, as you can see here on your storm relative velocity radar. Reds and greens close together like this. It has shown signs, at least in the latest scans, of becoming further apart, so that's good. The reds and greens are still there and a little bit brighter. So we'll keep an eye on this. Let's hope this continues to die out as it heads towards Watersmeet. But that RIJ really kicked in and pushed those damaging winds out at least.
Looks like they just trimmed the severe thunderstorm warning and focused it in that area of rotation in southeast Gogebic County, or hold up, Gogebic County. My brain always wants to say Gogebic, but it's not. It's Gogebic. Anywho,
yeah.
I was gonna mention that sometimes when you have areas of rotation, lightning concentration can be focused in this region. You can see it pretty well here, right where the area of interest is at. Once again, lightning does usually pick up in intensity when you have any signs of rotation. Not just speaking that in terms of radar looking, but also in terms of storm chasing. I've noticed it as well. Newest scan has just loaded in here. Looks like it picked up, Joel.
Just a little bit. I'm waiting for it on my end to kind of confirm that.
Yeah, on my end it looked like it picked up a bit.
Still loading in for me. Yeah, it looks like it briefly picked back up in the scan. Cloverleaf Lake Road, out here in rural southern Gogebic.
Yeah, I would say anywhere around here. Once again, this is nearly on Highway 2 right now. Watching this area of rotation, once again, there's nothing that's on the ground right now, to our knowledge, and I don't think there's enough proof of that either way. But regardless, gusty winds are likely hitting Highway 2 right now, as well as very heavy rainfall as well. So if anyone's traveling, I would highly recommend getting off the highway, not parking underneath an overpass. That is one of the worst things to do, because if there's gusty winds, or if, let's just say that if this would become tornado warning, if there would be a tornado, worst case scenario, you do not want to be underneath an overpass. That winds accelerate underneath an overpass, and you're also putting other people's lives in danger when you're blocking the overpass. It's actually illegal to do that, to park underneath an overpass as well. So don't do it, in other words.
The severe thunderstorm warning was trimmed. I don't know if we mentioned that or not, but it has been trimmed away from Marinisco. I'm going to take my radar back here real quick. You can see how the orange box used to be that big, and now it's this big. So it has been trimmed a little bit. Marinisco kind of in the clear now. However, Watersmeet still heading your way, not in a warning yet, but we could see a warning issued within the next couple of minutes. Again, this is still about probably 25 to 30 minutes away from Watersmeet, moving at 30 miles per hour, so it's still a little bit down the road. And we'll have to see if it continues to maintain its strength. At the current time, it is. But again, as we get into the nighttime hours here, that strength is going to go away with the instability starting to wane a little bit as well. There are still pixels in here at 9,000 feet off the ground of 81 miles per hour. I was gonna say that. I didn't want to say it because I know it's part of our training, and always good to mention that. But Carl says they don't have overpasses up there, which makes sense because there's no major interstates in the UP.
Oh yeah.
There are occasional bridges, like if there's like a railroad bridge,
Yeah.
but
That makes sense though when I think about it.
yeah, they're all 1 or 2 lane roads up there, pretty much. Even the U.S. routes. Broad rotation has been maintained. Looks like it decreased once again on this scan, but it's still there. We can see it pick back up in a scan from now. Radar scans right now are coming in at about 2.5 minutes per, so that's good. It's still out here in rural Gogebic County again, with the storm moving at 30 to 35. It's going to take a while to get anywhere towards civilization, but we want to see this stay away from civilization. So, I mean, unfortunately, there are still people that are living out here. So if you know anyone that is living between Watersmeet and Marinisco right now, please let them know. Severe is in their neck of the woods if they don't know already. Again, winds are pushing out and pulsing down towards Watersmeet, primarily here in this region, right along and south of US 2. So if you're in between US 2 and the border, that is the place to watch out for damaging winds. We also did get a radar post out about a couple minutes ago about this rotation, about 8 minutes ago now, on our Facebook page. Our Facebook page is Michigan Storm Chasers. Feel free to follow along if you haven't already. We have about 445,000 followers on that, so feel free to join the crowd. And again, it is where 100% of our text posts go every day, so that does include our severe weather outlooks for every single day. We'll have our next outlook out, which does go for tomorrow. Sometime tomorrow morning. We'll maybe do a briefing tomorrow morning as well to kind of go over the severe threat for the day. And Drew, I believe we may do a watch party tonight for our YouTube members here. Again, it's YouTube only. If you want to become a channel member on YouTube, you can hit that join button down below. Feel no need to join, but it is optional. And again, for our YouTube members only, we'll have a little bit of a watch party tonight, probably around sometime after 1 o'clock, maybe close to like 1:10, 1:15. Well, it's just basically a hangout period where we watch the models come in and we go over the SBC update once it comes out, essentially. So nothing too much that you'll miss, and all the information will be repeated to everyone on our Facebook page once it does come out. It, of course, also depends on if we're still live for severe weather coverage here, which, again, we're expecting severe weather to really dwindle here within the next hour and a half, maybe as late as midnight. But at the current time, we still have one strong storm in Gogebic County, which is severe thunderstorm warned for 60-mile-per-hour winds and hail under 0.75 inches. Can we do a putt-putt watch party? Perhaps. We could do that.
And this line is now just outside of Watersmeet right now. Currently no new warnings or statements issued ahead of this line, but nevertheless, very heavy rainfall and gusty winds that are now getting pretty close to the downtown area of Highway of Waters Meet and Highway 2 and 45 here. So, once again, a lot of lightning too with this line here as well. So definitely a pretty strong line that's moving toward here as well. So definitely a pretty strong line that's moving towards Waters Meet right now.
Oh, I just got disconnected there for a second. That was weird.
There it is. 60-mile-per-hour winds. Basically a copy paste, kind of a warning in terms of what was issued further back.
I have it here. So the details read: National Weather Service in Marquette has issued the severe thunderstorm warning for west central Iron and southeastern Gogebic County until 9:45 Central Time. At 9:02, a severe thunderstorm was located near Waters Meet, or 20 miles north of Eagle River, moving east at 45 miles per hour. So it's starting to pick up its pace a little bit. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. That does make sense, by the way, because the jet is pushing it forward a little bit quicker. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, main hazard. No other hazards in this storm at the current time. Waters Meet and Tamarack Lake are the only cities in this new orange box for severe thunderstorm warning. Waters Meet, you've got probably 5 to 10 minutes now. This is on your doorstep. If you're in Waters Meet, please be taking shelter. Again, there's no tornado possible within the severe warning, but again, there's a little bit of red and green funkiness that is showing up, as you guys can see on radar yourselves. And again, where those reds and greens come close together, we could see a little bit of perhaps a brief weak spin-up tornado. Don't want to rule it out, but again, damaging winds are the main threat, and damaging winds bring down just as many trees as a tornado could, especially if it's on the weaker end. So please be taking this seriously if you're in Waters Meet, where US 2 meets US 45 here downtown. So pretty close, about 5 to 10 minutes. Anywhere we see these blues on radar, this is winds of 60 to 65 at about 7,500 feet off the ground. So yes, they are in Central Time here. These warnings, this warning is in effect until 9:45 p.m. Central. Yeah, it was on my end. Our streaming software just cut out for like 5 seconds. So I was hoping it was my internet didn't go down, but we're back. So we'll kind of loop this for y'all. Put me on the big screen here. We're gonna do a little bit of a green screen. Drew's already smiling. he knows what's coming. So we'll do a little bit of a exclamation here as the radar fades through my shirt. It's a little close to the green. So here you go. So this is reflectivity is going to be over here on the right side. Velocity is on the right, or on, sorry, left, right. Left side, that is your normal just reflectivity. So that's going to be the intensity of your rainfall that's happening. And you can see here on velocity how that jet has pushed this wind out forward. Again, when that jet pushes forward like that, you get kind of the spin around counterclockwise motion into the backside of the storm. And so for a while there, across portions of the Michigan-Wisconsin border region, I know my voice is probably a little far away. I'll bring the mic closer. For a brief while there, that was spinning up into some rotation. Now that it has gone out a little bit further from where it did spin up briefly, it's more pushing out now. That rotation threat will start to dwindle. But again, there is still a little bit of red right in here mixing with greens on the back side, bookend side of it. But right now, the main wind is going to be from Waters Meet down south here along US 45 to the border. And again, you can see that over here on your reflectivity scan. Anywhere up and down that Boeing segment is where the winds are going to be the strongest. So that is what we're looking at here. There is also a little bit of a notch right here just south of Waters Meet right now. And that is something we'll have to watch as well. That also is kind of on the semi, it's kind of like an anticyclonic bookend vortex on the front of it. So that is kind of like a little bit of a radar update for you all there in terms of technical terms. Hopefully that made sense. I was kind of rushing through it, but there you go.
There you go. That's Joel's radar update. I will say, Joel, the audio was better on that time that you did it there than
I picked
last
up
time you did it with me.
I brought my microphone with me.
Yeah, even without the microphone too, like I could hear you on my end pretty well. So, but the microphone helped. But yeah.
Yeah, there's exactly what I was mentioning there. Right here, right close to downtown Watersmeet, that red and green close together like that, pulsing on the front side of the storm. That is something we'll have to watch there. Otherwise, this is going to be a straight line wind threat moving into downtown Watersmeet as we speak. Correlation coefficient, which also does indicate damage at sometimes debris being lofted, does not show anything in terms of dark blues, so we're good there. Believe this is just going to be a straight line wind threat at the current time, but a brief spin up is also possible given the shear vectors out there tonight. So we just had a quick little downburst just north of Lance. See the greens pulse there just for a brief while, primarily at the Beartown. Is that true? Beartown Road, right where it turns from north-south to east-west, in the vicinity of that. And let's see, do we got another road up here? Any other roads nearby? No, I think it's just near Beartown and Lindeman Road. So right there, we had a little bit of a downburst, not severe. But it goes to show that these storms can pulse like that tonight. We also have... what is this? An area of winds moving across Lake Superior. Not associated with any storm, but something to monitor. Very interesting. It's not associated with any thunderstorm. It's just gusty winds moving on Lake Superior towards Ontonagon as it stands. Maybe north as well. The primary threat is this severe thunderstorm warning in Gogebic County. The severe thunderstorm warning that was previously in effect for south central Gogebic County has been canceled, so now it's just southeastern, so this little quadrant down here, as well as extreme western Iron County. A lot of rural areas out here that only encompasses about 5 miles inland from the county line inland, as you can see in that orange box on your screen. Wind just hit fast and hard, lots of thunder and lightning, super heavy rain. She's 6 miles south of Watersmeet in a cabin. And that would make sense. That would be right here near Land O'Lakes. And that is exactly where it's hitting right now. Again, those winds extend all the way down, even over towards Conover, Land O'Lakes, and Watersmeet. This entire corridor right now is trying to gust forward. So if you're anywhere up and down this line, again, that severe thunderstorm warning is in effect for both Vilas County and Gogebic County here in the UP. Latest scan shows a brief intensity of reds and greens directly over Watersmeet. That's not what I want to see.
Yeah.
So I'm going to hope that's not a quick spin-up tornado. I'm going to keep my fingers crossed here, but if you're in Watersmeet, your time to be taking shelter. Again, you've had about 45 minutes of time to kind of take that shelter. Now's that time to act on it. Again, it's already in downtown, so please be taking shelter. Lowest floor of the building, a basement if you have one. Interior room, protect your head at all costs. Again, if you're in Watersmeet downtown and places off to the east, please be taking shelter at the current time.
Currently checking power outages here behind the scenes. U.S. Power outages. Currently, I'm not seeing anything loading in right now. But in terms of the counties that have been getting hit with the current severe weather, but I'll let you guys know if that changes here.
Yeah, I'm gonna point this out real quick, Drew, because we can see this notch on radar. As I was mentioning, you can see it on both base reflectivity right here, so you can see how curves back into the storm. So there's a tiny little bit of inflow being sucked in, and it's very evident here on our velocity radar, where you can see that kind of just pulls right itself in. And again, those reds are winds moving away from the radar, which is kind of behind me, the Marquette radar. And again, with that RIJ pushing in from the west, our rear inflow jet, all those winds are going to push it forward and continue to circle it around into the backside of the storm. So the RIJ kind of displaced itself from the north, and now it's kind of in two different spots. So it pushed out, and now it's pushing up into two different locations, kind of like a little bit of like a sideways heart. So you have RIJ up here and RIJ down here. So you have to watch this region up here and this region down here as well right now, directly over Watersmeet.
We'll have a scan coming in here shortly. Looks like it just loaded in here on my end.
Yep. Again, this is Watersmeet, Michigan, in the UP Iron County. Sorry, this is Gogebic County heading towards Iron County. See, base reflectivity is just updated.
Yep. Waiting for storm relative to update here. See if correlation coefficient is updated here. Yeah, not seeing anything right now. Rotation continues.
Does. Correlation coefficient doesn't believe there was a touchdown, but again, that is 6,500 feet off the ground. So it could, if there was a brief spin up, it would probably be underneath the radar. Again, if you're in Watersmeet, let us know when it's safe to do so. If you got any damage there, if you live nearby Watersmeet. But again, safety is your number one concern right now. Please be taking shelter if you haven't already. If you're Watersmeet and east, so this is going to be crossing over Marion Lake Road very, very shortly. It's about 2 to 3 miles east of town, as well as Old U.S. Highway 2 east. The pink on the left side of the radar is your intensity of rain, so it's so intense that it might be even some small hail mixing in. So anywhere you see the pinks, that's very, very, very large raindrops. And again, the larger the raindrops, the more susceptible it is to freezing when it gets elevated up in the atmosphere. And the severe thunderstorm warning is in effect for just 60-mile-per-hour winds. There's a little bit of rotation on here, but at the current time, they're just going to keep it for 60-mile-per-hour winds. Yeah, it's a double RIJ right now. It's crazy. Look at some of our stuff behind the scenes here. Oh yeah.
New scan coming in. Reflectivity almost looks like a mini donut hole.
Mm-hmm.
Waiting for base reflectivity as well as storm relative to update here shortly. Continues. Here.
Severe thunderstorm warning has been trimmed. A tornado is now possible. So they have upgraded it. They are seeing the rotation of this storm. This is now the next step away from a possible tornado warning, and this would be entering Iron County within the next 5 minutes. So this is now over Marion Lake Road. The rotation right now is right here, about 2 to 3 miles outside of town of Watersmeet. We are also watching this area up here as well, which is also part of that rear inflow jet. It's very broad at the current time, but that could also do brief spin-up tornadoes as well. So if you're to the east of Watersmeet, it's going to be heading towards rural portions of northwest Iron County. You need to be on alert for a developing tornado possible. It's not on the ground. It does not appear to be on the ground according to radar, but it has shown signs of rotation for the last probably 30 to 45 minutes now, and it is at that point where it could be producing a brief spin-up tornado. Again, it's too far away from the radar to tell. So if anything is happening, it would be below the radar beam at the current time. So again, tornado. Yep, go ahead.
It continues to move off to the east-northeast right now. Thankfully, it's now leaving the Waters Meet area slowly. Still getting a lot of lightning though in downtown area, so I would still be in your safe spot right now as it continues to move off to the east-northeast. Not seeing any major areas. However, I will say
Tamarack.
There's Fuller as well as Tamarack.
Yep.
Hopefully I said that right.
Yep.
It is now basically right on top of you as we speak here. New scan is loading in right now. I'm going to wait here for that to do it here on my end. Should be loading in here any second now, guys. Yep, here it is. Looks like it continues. Might have picked up. That is not what I want right now. I'm going to pull up Storm Relative here quick. Needs to update here. I'll upload here. It'll load in here, guys. Any second here. If you're in Fuller as well as Tamarack, I would definitely be in your safe spot. Once again, severe thunderstorm warning, tornado possible tag. This is the area of interest here. It'll probably load here. Yep, there it is, right there. Looks like it's a little bit tighter in nature here. If we pull up correlation coefficient here quick, just to play safe. Still not seeing anything, which is great. Hopefully it stays away as it is, but once again, this is the area of interest right here, and is continuing to move off to the east northeast as we speak. Back to you, Joel.
Yep. Go ahead and take mine back. I'm going to see what the storm motion vector is. 280 at 39. I'll update that to better represent the reds and greens on velocity, and there they are. Again, you can see multiple regions of reds and greens kind of close together. We're watching this region north of Waters Meet and this region to the east of Waters Meet. So Waters Meet's kind of surrounded, but Waters Meet in general now should be in the clear. Tamarack it's basically on you right now if there were to be a tornado. And this is heading off to very rural portions of northwest Iron County. So thankfully, away from most civilizations, but again, there are still people that are out here camping and they live out here, they have summer homes. Please, if you are in these, if you know anyone that's living up here, feel free to spread the word. It doesn't have to be through us, just through your word of mouth. Let them know rotating storms are heading their way, and at the very least, if it's not rotating storms, it is damaging straight line winds of 60 miles per hour. So those will just bring down just as many trees as a weak tornado would. Yeah, especially this time of the year, there are a lot more tourists in this part of the state. Again, July is about peak tourism season, especially for the UP. So, again, if you know any out-of-state family that might be visiting up here, again, that word goes a long ways. And again, as we mentioned here at MSC, hitting that like button, especially on Facebook. If you're watching on Facebook, hit that like button if you haven't. It does work for YouTube as well. Hitting that like button does push it into the feeds of your fellow Michiganders and fellow people that are living in the state of Michigan. That way it pops up and they're, if they see like their town that they're visiting on the radar, then that way they can kind of, tune in, figure out what the details are, and be able to take necessary precautions. So right now, if you are one of those people that are tuning in, welcome, of course. Feel free to follow along. The severe thunderstorm warning with tornado possible is directly over Tamarack over Tamarack to the east of Waters Meet. This is in Gogebic County, Michigan, in the UP, heading towards Iron County in the UP as well. These are the counties that border Wisconsin and Michigan. These are nowhere near the Lower Peninsula, so if you're in the Lower Peninsula tonight, take a nice deep breath. You guys are good. At the current time, we have a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible as denoted by the National Weather Service Marquette. So if you are in this neck of the woods, please be taking shelter immediately. The hail threat is minimal. It's mainly damaging winds, but again, tornado possible is a secondary threat. Current time right now, listed on the bottom of your screen in Eastern time, is 10:22 Eastern, 9:22 Central. I'm Chief Meteorologist Joel Fritzma. Drew's below me. We are both were students or are students at Central Michigan University for meteorology. I'm an alumni. He is also in training to become a meteorologist. So you guys are in good hands tonight. We'll keep you guys covered until this severe weather threat does go away. But unfortunately right now that is not the case. We're going to be live covering this until it goes away. Usually it's street by street, but unfortunately there's not really many streets to name out here. You could say it's also fortunately because it's away from major populations. But again, NFS Road 3340 is the main road through here, and Federal Forest 3340 Road, as well as 3346. So all of these two-track roads slash snowmobile trails, I can't speak tonight, snowmobile trails out here in western Iron County are all in the threat for this. All I'm going to say is for those who are commenting in chat, leave it to the meteorologist. Do not be making up your own weather reports in chat. Again, this is what we're here to do. No problem, y'all. As you can see on radar, right side of your screen is velocity. These are winds of 60 to 65 at about 6,200 feet off the ground. Yeah, Carl, there's a lot of these roads, as you can see here on the map. I'll single box it here real quick. A lot of these are just very, very curvy through the forests. If you turn off the watches, you can see it's very, obviously, wooded areas. A lot of these are snowmobile trails and federal roads, so hard to access. But they are roads nonetheless, in quotation marks. So here's the full loop. Go ahead.
So the area of interest is now basically just about to enter into Iron County right now. New scan just loaded in here. Continues that area, very broad in nature, but still there nevertheless as it continues to cross over into Iron County. On the extreme northern portion of that severe thunderstorm warning is in place for portions of Iron County. And once again, I know I can see it well on my radar too. There are a bunch of lakes and ponds here. Seeing a lot of side roads here, so I would imagine there are houses here scattered across these ponds and lakes here, whether it's rentals or other homes or secondary homes or anything like that. If anyone is around these areas here in northwest Iron County, any of these ponds or lakes, I would definitely be wary of the storm here as it continues to move off towards your region.
The center rotation is now on the county line. We also have that secondary area of broad rotation back here, still about 2 miles north of Watersmeet. A lot weaker in nature, but you still have that region where winds are moving in from the north into the backside of the storm, feeding it a little bit with the RIJ out in front, so we could see a little bit of funkiness happen. Overall, the trend is it is starting to weaken, which is good. You're starting to see those greens start to fade out a little bit. So this storm will start to run its course, but at the current time we still have to watch and wait and see what happens here in terms of the short term within the next probably 15 minutes. This is the only severe thunderstorm warning in the state, thankfully. Includes portions of 2 counties out of the 83 we have in Michigan. If you're anywhere else, you guys are in the clear. No significant storms anywhere else in the state right now. We're just watching this storm as it crosses from Gogebic into Iron County. That's all there really is to say right now. We do have a new scan coming out on radar, I believe, here in just a moment.
Yes.
The warning for Vilas County, Wisconsin has been canceled.
Yeah, still there. Weak in nature, nothing really showing any signs of increasing based on my end here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say the storm, yeah, is basically on that county line. It's entering Iron County as we speak. That area of interest is, I would say, fully in Iron County at this point. In northwest Iron County, moving off to the east northeast. This line is slightly weakening here. Looks like a new special weather statement was issued for the Wisconsin end, at least of this line here. Marquette will eventually issue, I would say, either another special weather statement ahead of this or a warning for the rest of Iron County, if I had to imagine, as this continues to move off to the east northeast.
That's a good point. If you guys know anyone that is living in this area, or if you yourself are living in this area and you have damage to report, feel free to send it in to us. Multitude of ways to do so. We have Messenger. It's one of the best ways to do it. Otherwise, we highly recommend you send in your damage reports to our Michigan Weather Reports page on Facebook. It's easy to do. Michigan Storm Community is for fair weather posts. So Michigan Weather Reports, if you have any damage reports, feel free to send them in. Alternatively, we do have a Discord server. It is discord.gg/Michigan Storm Chasers. We do have a new severe thunderstorm warning coming in right now.
Yeah. It was interesting because it literally just popped up on my radar and then disappeared in a second. So I don't really know. There it is. As for the whole entire county of Iron County, Michigan, once again, winds for 60 miles per hour. And once again, that tornado possible tag is still there for this line. So spin-up tornado can't be ruled out with this line as it continues to move off to the east-northeast. Once again, that's for the whole entire county of Iron County as this line continues to move off to the east-northeast.
Yep.
So places like Iron River, Crystal Falls, Caspian, Mastodon. I don't know if I didn't say that right.
If you want me to read, I can read through them if you want me to.
Yeah, go ahead.
So this severe thunderstorm warning is in effect for all of Iron County until 10:30 Central, so we got an hour on it. At 9:28 Central, severe thunderstorms were located along a line extending from 7 miles southwest of Kenton to near Phelps, moving east at 40. It's in effect for 60-mile-per-hour winds. Locations impacted include Iron River, Crystal Falls, Stambaugh, Amasa, US 141 between Covington and Amasa, Caspian, Gastra, Alpha, Way Dam, Stager, Hangerman Lake, and Golden Lake. And a tornado is also possible with this thunderstorm. So again, continuing that tornado possible tag, likely for this tiny little bit of rotation in the northwest corner. But again, the entire county of Iron is now in a severe thunderstorm warning. This does include Iron River, Crystal Falls, and Amasa, the three main metropolitan areas in Iron County. Although some people probably beg to differ. You could probably include Caspian and Stambaugh and Gastra as well. But again, Iron River, Crystal Falls, Amasa, all in this severe thunderstorm warning. The highlight of the damaging winds right now, if anything, are going to be right along and north of US 2. So at the current time, it looks like this is going to be heading further to the east and north, which has kind of been the trend. So Amasa, if anything, Iron River, Crystal Falls may be a little bit too far south. But we're continuing to monitor. Again, the entire warning, or the entire county is in this warning. So no matter what, you should be ready to take shelter in a interior room just in case 60-mile-per-hour winds do come through your neck of the woods and bring down some trees. It's the best thing to do. You just want to play it safe. Again, even if nothing is heading your way, being in an interior room just in case. So yeah. The warning for Gogebic County has been trimmed back now, so Watersmeet, you are in the clear. It's just this 3-mile stretch of far eastern Gogebic County now in the severe thunderstorm warning. Otherwise, it's the entirety of Iron County, Michigan. So that rotation has been maintaining itself now for a while, but I believe this latest scan really starts to mix it out a little bit. Likely some pea-sized tail mixing in, but at the current time, this looks to be just a damaging wind threat. That jet continues to push those winds out, blow them out towards the northern portion of Iron County. We do have a little bit of brighter blues down here along the Michigan-Wisconsin border as well, primarily on NFS Road 3210. This would be along US 2, so Iron River, be on alert. You could have some of those 60-mile-per-hour winds entering your region soon, but I think the strongest is going to remain just to your north, as I continue to mention. We got Ben in here. Iron County severe is too familiar. For those who remember from our streams, I think it was last week, Ben was up there chasing in Iron County near Amasa, 2-tracking on the dirt roads in the back forest. So, you know, on occasion we will have chasers up there, but we only have, I think, one on our staff that does live up there year-round. So we do need, if you do want to become part of our Chaser Partner Network, there's a form you can fill out. We'll get around to it when we can. But yeah, if you live in the UP and you want to become part of the team, there's always a possibility. Feel free to try it out. Go ahead and loop it. See the progression of the storm. More cells starting to fire up down to the south as well, but not sure if they're going to get to the severe limits tonight as our instability continues to wane down. Yeah, latest scan continues to, well, waiting for it here just a second. We'll see what it says. Weakens out just a little bit, even more.
As of now, it looks to be more kind of gusting out right now as it moves off to the east here. Not saying we can't have more areas of rotation along this line here. It's still definitely possible. But like Joel's mentioning, it looks like it's starting to gust out a little bit more. And looking behind the scenes here too for any new power outages. Currently, I haven't seen anything pop in yet, but I'll let you guys know if anything changes with that.
definitely getting into our late night hours here for sure. We're getting to that 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern time frame. 10 o'clock Central for those living across the UP along the Wisconsin border region. Always hard to remember that we do have portions of the state that are in the Central time zone, but we do cover for all time zones no matter what, which there's 2 of them in Michigan, obviously. So Gogebic, Iron, Dickinson, Menominee County, all in Central. The rest of the state in Eastern time. And Iron County is in Central time, and they're the only county right now in a severe warning. This warning is in effect until 11:30 Eastern, 10:30 Central. 60-mile-per-hour winds, tornado possible, still remains on the storm. But it continues to gust itself out in terms of going forward and being gusty, but not rotating in on itself. So thankfully, right now, it looks like it's more of a damaging wind threat. Still going to bring down trees. Please be on alert for those. But the tornado threat is starting to diminish now compared to what we saw earlier near Watersmeet. Again, if you are in the Watersmeet area and you have damage to report, now that it is safe to do so, feel free to go ahead and check out the area. Obviously, rain is going to be picking up soon as well. Flooding is a concern tonight. And we could see some flash flood warnings pop up throughout the region as the night goes on. It has rained a lot up there today, especially across portions of the western UP near Lake Superior, up towards Keweenaw as well. And that rain will continue tonight into tomorrow. We can also check back off to the west just to see where the rain is. And we do have more rain showers feeding in from portions of northern Minnesota and down here in far western Wisconsin as well. And we could see some backfilling included.
Again, this line stretches, as you can see on Jules' radar, from basically Lake Superior almost all the way to the border of Wisconsin and the UP. Obviously, the southern end is really the only severe portion of this cell. I would imagine, too, this line would have a pretty good shelf cloud, too, if I had to imagine, as it continues to move off to the east. It's been remaining linear for the past hour here, so I wouldn't be shocked if there's a nice shelf cloud as it continues to move off to the east here.
Drew is our shelf cloud connoisseur. He always seems to find all of the shelf clouds when he goes out and chases.
Yep. For those that on the chat that might remember, not too long ago, was I think early July. It was July 2. We had a dying storm that was over the lake, but it was kind of holding its act together. And I went to Grand Haven and went live on MSC, and you guys saw a beautiful shelf cloud that came into view in Grand Haven. I am really obsessed with getting shelf clouds in the lake. They just look very gorgeous, especially when the water's calm too. It just kind of adds just a picturesque kind of view, and yeah. But I've had a history of getting a lot of shelf clouds in the past. So I live in the west side, and we always have a lot of complexes that die off from Wisconsin or the UP or you name it, that come from the west, head east, and even though they might be dying off, usually shelf clouds are a little bit more stubborn and they hold their structure together and can provide beautiful scenes.
Mm-hmm. And it's NFS Road 137 up next. It's a very, very big and long north-south road through here. It kind of stretches down towards Iron River. Iron River, it's going to be on your doorstep within the next 5 to 10 minutes. Probably can already hear the thunder and see the lightning in the distance. Gusty winds still possible up to 60 miles per hour. Please be on alert for that as those storms continue your way. Amasa, Crystal Falls, probably within the next half hour if it can maintain its strength. But overall, this line is starting to weaken. Good news there. Bad news is we are still severe thunderstorm warned for the time being. As these storms race off to the east now at speeds of now 40 to 45 miles per hour, which has increased from 30 earlier this evening. So that rear inflow jet kicked into the backside of the storm, pushes it forward a little bit quicker. And if that mixes down to the surface, that could cause winds of 60 and plus. Put on our velocity radar for you guys.
New scan coming in. Yeah, I can already tell via base, or not base, errors reflectivity looks like some of those pinks and purples are kind of falling apart with this line here. Let's look at velocity as it loads in here. Yeah, if anything, I almost feel like, Joel, further up to the north, there's some gustier winds than we're seeing right now.
Yeah. It's kind of split.
Yeah. Yeah, this whole entire line here, let's look at this draw arrow here, could have gusty winds, in my opinion, as it moves off to the east here / northeast, probably more eastward direction. Once again, I keep saying this, but easily could have a really nice shelf cloud. I would say if you're living more up here where you have more rain, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to view it. You want to have clear skies to view this. So I would say anywhere around this region would provide probably a good shelf cloud viewing spot. Obviously, it's cool to see shelf clouds, but you want to be safe while you're doing that. These storms do have lightning. You don't want to be out and about. And they've had a history of spin up areas of rotation. So, but if you want to take a quick peek outside, get a quick picture, as long as you're far away from the storm, totally feel free to do that. If you want to send that to our storm community page, feel free to do that on not reports. We want to keep our report page more for damage only. Otherwise, we'll just get cool pictures all the time in the report page, which isn't a bad thing. We just don't want it in the report page because we want to relay important information when it comes to damage, whether it's hail or damaging wind damage or tornado damage, stuff like that. And once again, I bet we've now mentioned this 10 plus times. Lower Michigan, not expecting any severe weather tonight. Maybe an isolated thunderstorm or two late overnight tonight, but we're not expecting that to be severe. Another scan is now coming in. Or it just came through at me. I don't know. I don't think velocity is updated yet. Yeah, on my end. These are kind of where your gustier winds are at. I draw probably the two areas that I'm seeing right now. Up here. Oh, there we go. Now it updated. Kind of these two regions here. I would say more up here by, what was that? Baraga County, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I would say probably some gustier winds there. If we do rough measurements here. Yeah, definitely on the gustier side. Not quite, getting close to severe criteria. But once again, not all these winds might be fully reaching to the ground, but nevertheless, gusty winds, very heavy rainfall present in Baraga County as well, as this continues to move off to the east. And we also still have that severe thunderstorm warning with that tornado possible tag. But this line has kind of died down here in the past few scans. If I switch this to 14 frames here, you guys can see kind of what I mean by that. Let me play it back here. You can see those darker colors here, and a lot more lightning too with this line as it kind of continued to move off to the northeast. We also had some type of rotation as well by Watersmeet area as it moved into northwest Iron County, but now it is it's not gone, but it's not near as pronounced as it was earlier on. But it just continues to kind of fall apart as it moves off to the northeast here. So not seeing anything quite reaching that severe criteria, but nevertheless, there is that severe thunderstorm warning. You still could have a pocket of winds that could get to that severe criteria. And once again, Baraga County is starting to gust out a little bit more. So, yeah. Carl saying beautiful lightning in Iron River. It definitely helps too with these 2-minute scans here to get a better picture. Usually the National Weather Service does that if there's ever that threat for like a QLCS spin up, or to just get quicker readings. That's really important when it comes to spin up tornadoes, because spin up tornadoes can happen very quickly. Typically, correct me if I'm wrong with this, Joel, it's about 5-minute scans roughly on a normal basis, roughly, right?
Yeah, 5 to 7.
Yeah, 5 to 7. So 2-minute scans are usually more meant to detect if there's any tornadic potential or spin up potential. They don't usually do that for an average severe weather setup, but when things ramp up, then they usually go by that 2-minute scan. So. Ryan mentioned too, we do have a few cams coming up in the UP. Thanks to Guardian, we'll have a few coming up here shortly. So eventually we'll give you guys cam views in the UP, which will be really handy.
Storm update.
Go ahead.
Damaging winds moving into perhaps Sidnall right now if those are severe, but right now there's no statements up there to the north. Otherwise, the damaging winds right now, if there are damaging winds, are heading into Iron River downtown, Mineral Hills, Caspian, Stambaugh, and Gastra as well. About 5 different little towns within the vicinity of each other. So please be taking shelter if you are in this little area of Iron County. Winds may not be gusting to 60, but there is signs that winds are gusting nonetheless, so please be taking shelter. Amasa, Crystal Falls, still probably got 10 minutes for Amasa, probably 15 to 20 for Crystal Falls and Alpha. Got a fifth wheeler sitting out on Golden Lake between Watersmeet and Iron River. Hope it is safe. Let's hope so too. Again, that was right where this previously rotating storm was moving through at the current time. It has started to weaken. I think we're just down to a damaging wind threat at the current time. Continuing to monitor. But again, still pretty gusty out there. Again, you can see batch 1 up here that is not warned. Those brighter greens and even blues heading towards western Baraga County, starting to enter western Baraga County. US 41 at M28 right now, just south of Lance. That's where it's heading. Drew, I don't know if you want to go over any rainfall totals that you've been seeing across the western UP. That's probably something we could cover real quick if there's anything that you see personally that's worth mentioning. Otherwise, if not, no worries. It hasn't been too long yet for the rainfall to kind of accumulate, but it is a possibility throughout the night.
Yeah. Trying to pull this up here. Yeah, so for storm total preset, it looks like the heaviest rain. I'm trying to get this pulled up again.
Oh, good. I'll wait.
Yep. Yeah, it looks like the heaviest rain from today has happened in Houghton County as well as northern Baraga County. Um, if we pull up measurements here, as much as 4 inches of rainfall in the heaviest spots, which is definitely a lot of rain in a given time frame here. So I wouldn't be shocked if low-lying areas do, or any ditches have some water puddling up. Correct me if I'm wrong, Joel. I don't see any flash flood warnings or advisories in effect right now.
Nope.
But once again, we still have ongoing rainfall that's still present for all of this area. Light to moderate rainfall throughout up here. Once again, even heavier rainfall with this line that is now moving through. We have all of this rain back here that's just slowly moving across. If we quickly switch to the Duluth radar to see kind of like the back edge of this here, yeah, I mean it's still raining in portions of even Minnesota and Wisconsin. So definitely got several hours potentially of rainfall. So something that we're going to be in the be on the lookout for here. But main focus of rain, if I can circle it here, has been kind of located right around here. That was not the best of circles, but this region here has had most widespread rain throughout today. Once again, flash flooding can be a risk, even though we don't have any flash flood advisories or warnings in effect. There easily could be a few low-lying areas that could be flooded over that are prone to flooding. Say at this point, just looking at reflectivity, it looks like that northern band is more impressive in nature than the southern band, but regardless, both areas, I would say, in my opinion, Joel, don't look severe at this time. Not saying the threat is over.
Right.
We still have that severe thunderstorm warning in Iron County, but not seeing anything too concerning as of 10:54 Eastern Daylight Time, 9:54 Central Daylight Time.
Yeah. Temperature difference from before the storm to afterwards. So it's in the 80s out there before the storm. After the storm goes through, it could get down into the mid 60s, especially as we get into the evening hours and overnight hours here tonight. Some locations are going to be into the mid 60s. Go ahead and check the MEDAR stations out there. Yeah, 66 in Houghton, 66 in Ironwood. Out in front of the storm, it is 78 degrees in Iron Mountain right now. So about a 15-degree difference, give or take. So if you are in the UP, you always have your sweatshirts on you year-round. But we do have cooler temperatures on the way with this rain moving in. It'll feel nice. But humidity is back tomorrow. But that humidity will primarily funnel in for portions of extreme eastern UP and portions of the lower peninsula for the Wednesday, and then especially on the Thursday time frame as well. Fairly quiet in here right now, but that is a good sign. As a reminder, if we're not talking about your city, then you are not usually in a threat. In terms of being in a threat right now, I think Iron River is the only one. Amasa as well up next. Alpha Crystal Falls to come. But that's usually the rule of thumb here at MSC. We always say if you're not talking about your city, you guys are not in the threat. And given that we are spending many seconds in silence here, that is a good sign for the rest of this evening. Tomorrow might be a little bit of a different story, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Again, Lower Peninsula is in a threat for tomorrow, as we keep repeating, primarily after 3 p.m. Pop-ups, and then a little bit of an MCV coming through the west side of the state tomorrow night, primarily around sunset and later. Could push you a bit earlier for the West Michigan shorelines, maybe closer to 7 or 8, but it was really going to be around 9 o'clock and later for much of southern and central Michigan. Trying to think what else. Tomorrow would be an all hazards threat again as well. Sorry, I said the keyword. My bad.
I guess I will say this as a small precursor of what we'll explain more with the Model Watch Party as well as tomorrow. But based on recent guidance that has been loading in, nothing's really changed in my opinion. As Joel was kind of mentioning, that potential low all-hazard threat could be possible, especially, I would say, mainly in West Michigan, but we'll kind of dive more into it later on. But I just wanted to mention that now, as things are a little bit, not going to say the word, calmer. I'll use that word, calmer. But, yeah, we'll talk about it more later on.
As a reminder, for anyone that's watching on YouTube right now, there's about 200 of you in here. If you would like to become a channel member and join us for our watch party later tonight, it's going to be sometime after 1. Don't really have a set time right now. It's just whenever we're ready to rock and roll. We'll send a link out on our YouTube page in the posts section on YouTube. There will be an unlisted link for our channel members to come and tune in on. So feel free to join in on that. So make sure you are, if you want to, it's obviously optional. Again, it's just a way to kind of just hang out, talk with you more on a personal basis, and watch the models roll in and the SBC Outlook, which will come out around 1:30 or 2 a.m.
And it's saying heavy rain and very windy in Iron River right now. Check velocity here. Yeah, definitely some gusty winds in my opinion. I don't think they're quite severe in my opinion, but still gusty winds nevertheless along this line that is moving off to the east here, as well as heavy rainfall and lightning. But you can kind of see already where the severe thunderstorm warning is at. This line is just becoming less and less organized. You can see it kind of well in reflectivity. Look at how organized it was. Very dark colors in nature. Very heavy rainfall, strung up drafts. But then it's kind of losing its shape a bit here in the middle portions here. If I can draw it right here. So a little bit of an organized line here, especially up further north here in Baraga County up here. Kind of see a well distinct line here. So I would say if anyone's traveling too, you're going to notice a rapid change in visibility, especially in Highway 41 here. This line is about a minute away in my opinion. So if anyone's traveling here, I would definitely be on the lookout here. Yeah, newest scan really shows that contrast. I mean, you go from basically light drizzles or a light drizzle to a very heavy downpour within seconds. So just be mindful about that if you're traveling. I pull up velocity here. Yeah, definitely some gusty winds. Not quite severe. Even these winds have been weakening in the past few scans, but still, you don't want to be you don't want to hydroplane it's definitely a real danger. It's not just a winter thing. When you're driving, you can easily lose control. I know, for an example, I had this when we were heading back from our vacation. There was a car with a truck with a boat that lost control on the highway in a heavy downpour that just kind of snuck up onto us, and thankfully they are all right. But once again, rapidly deteriorating conditions can make traveling across the roadway, especially a highway, very difficult. Again, the severe thunderstorm warning that's in Iron County will expire in 28 minutes here. I wouldn't be shocked if the National Weather Service would consider canceling it sooner, but at the same time, they might just let it run out its course as well. And there is currently no other warnings or statements across the UP or Michigan.
Yeah, we still got, what, 25 minutes left on this morning?
Yeah, 28.
Yeah. Fingers crossed we can cancel it sooner. But at the current time, if you look north there, Drew, I believe there's still some gusty winds trying to mix in from Lance down to Covington. That northern bow.
Yeah, I'd say this northern bow looks more organized than the southern bow.
But how much of that is mixing to the ground? Probably not a whole lot. Again, there's no special weather statement out there for at least the strong winds, and that is due to the fact that we've had, stable atmosphere since the early morning storms. We had a couple rounds of storms up there today in Houghton and Baraga County. That has stabilized the atmosphere, it's taken the instability away, and so while there is winds going on right now across this portion of the state, it may get a little gusty at the ground. Severe winds are not going to mix down due to that stable layer that's pretty close to the surface, thanks to storms earlier in the day. So that is why we have severe to the south, where there is kind of lesser on radar than there is to the north. That is because the stuff to the south is more likely to be surface-based and mixing to the ground right now. So the more you know.
And yeah, you can see it too on both bows here. Just you can see those lighter or more brighter colors. Indicates heavier wind speeds and gusts up in the portions of the atmosphere, and you can see as time goes on, they just continue to weaken both in the southern bow and northern bow. But just like Joel mentioned, storms to the south are more surface-based, and what basically that means is there's a better chance those winds could mix down to the surface, aka the ground, and produce some gusty winds compared to up north. Still really heavy rainfall though with these two bows though.
Warhawk on Twitch asking any reports, no reports out of Iron River, question mark. I believe we have a viewer here on YouTube right now who is in Iron River that reported lots of lightning and some gusty winds, but overall not bad, which is a good sign there. Feel free to come interact on YouTube as well. Otherwise, again, Twitch is available, but I believe you guys, there's fairly minimal damage out of Iron River right now. Again, we have one person watching from Iron River that did report lots of lightning, thunder, and perhaps a little bit of gusty winds, but not anything close to severe. We could have isolated severe pockets of damaging winds outside of the city, but at the current time, it looks like it's rather timid across this severe thunderstorm warning that's currently in effect for Iron. It is late night crew now. We are in the 11 o'clock hour. For those who are watching, about 200 of you guys, 250 of you guys across the region, across all of our platforms, you guys are part of the late night crew. And good news,
Warning is canceled.
the warning is canceled. Saw the bar disappear on the bottom of the screen. It is off the screen on Drew. And so at the current time, these winds are no longer at severe criteria. And the fact that we don't have any statements to follow makes us believe that our severe weather is pretty much done. Our severe thunderstorm watch also expired at 11 o'clock Eastern time. So everything has expired here for the state of Michigan, and we are now in all clear, just like that, within the snap of our fingers within 5 minutes. So good news there. Gusty winds may continue towards Dickinson and Marquette County, but at the current time, not expected to be severe. At least I'm going to knock on wood and say for the rest of the tonight. That could change, obviously. Keep an eye on it as we wait for our watch party to occur later tonight. Again, we're probably going to do it around 1-ish in the morning, maybe a little bit later. So plan on, we'll say right now, around 1:10 a.m. for the watch party to start. And again, it could be off by a couple minutes, so just have your YouTube page up and ready. That watch party will be available for members only, so if you are a part of our memberships on YouTube, you'll get a link to it and you can come join us and watch just the models roll in. We can talk one-on-one in terms of weather, what to expect for certain locations. Obviously, we don't have a crystal ball. We won't tell you exactly what locations are going to get severe weather tomorrow at what time, but we can at least give you a good idea of what we're seeing, our meteorological backgrounds, and obviously wait for that Storm Prediction Center outlook to come out. So feel free to join us as a member here on YouTube. On occasion, if you do subscribe here on YouTube, some people do give away gifted memberships, and that gifted membership would allow you to come join us here on our watch party. So totally optional, but yeah, we are now out of severe weather ops for tonight. These storms will continue to roll down US 2 and M28 towards Marquette. But at the current time, not expected to be severe. Maybe strong winds of 40, maybe as high as 50, but anything higher than that would be severe. We're not expecting that tonight as the instability continues to go down.
For those that are wondering about the watch party, usually we're a little bit more personal with talking about it. Usually it's more of me or Joel or whoever that's really on is discussing. We're kind of making observations. We'll look at it. We'll see what's happening. We'll talk to each other about what we're seeing, and we kind of talk more in depth about the four ingredients for severe weather: shear, lift, instability, moisture, and we kind of talk about trends and the models. We just get really in depth in our conversations about it. So if you guys want to hear more of the in-depth and specifics, that's what we usually do. We occasionally mention them here during our normal live streams, but for the sake of just clarity, we usually want to keep it basic, but also occasionally throw in some terms just for fun, but we want to keep it a little bit more basic so we don't overwhelm y'all, because there's a lot that goes into weather and forecasting, and there's a lot of terms, especially with tomorrow's setup, things like MCVs, clusters, and all kinds of other terminology that we use. So yeah.
Yeah, tomorrow, timing really for any severe weather tomorrow is going to be 3 o'clock and beyond. Those are for pop-up cells, mainly from US 131 and east. And then tomorrow night, West Michigan primarily, as well as over towards the 127 corridor, will have a MCV crossing the state. Again, I'll start as early as maybe 8 o'clock on the Lake Michigan shoreline, move across Grand Rapids area towards Lansing around midnight. And then if it can survive across the state, closer to 2 and 3 a.m. for the Thumb region. So our window of opportunity for tomorrow for severe weather is anytime from 3 p.m. to 3 a.m. on Thursday. So it's a 12-hour window. The early hours from 3 to about sunset are going to be pop-up cells on the east side of the state, central and east side of the state, and Lower Peninsula. And then really that 8 o'clock p.m. to about 3 a.m. One big system moving across the state with a damaging wind threat. Perhaps embedded tornadoes and some hail mixing in as well, but primarily damaging winds. So keep that in mind. We'll go over a lot of those details tonight in the watch party. Otherwise, we'll have details out for you guys first thing tomorrow morning in terms of severe weather to expect on Wednesday. Again, we'll have all the updated models coming out tonight and a better glimpse of kind of more of an exact timing for places tomorrow. Again, pop-ups are obviously going to be very, very wide in nature in terms of timing. You could get quarter of an inch of rain. Places down the road could get inch and a half of rain and severe weather. So it's very, very wide probability-based stuff going on. But we'll get a map out for you guys tomorrow morning. So tune in soon. Again, it's a level 2 of 6 is what we released today on our Facebook page. We could see an upgrade to a level 3 of 6 tomorrow from us here at MSC, and from the SBC it would be a level 2 of 5. So we have one extra category because, in Michigan, there are surprise days, so we added an extra lower category just for our sneaky days. Most of y'all have lived here in Michigan long enough to know that Michigan weather likes to play its own game. And obviously every state likes to say that. Like, if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes. But in Michigan, we have the influence of the lakes more so than any other state in the U.S. So the lake does have microclimate features that do impact severe weather, much more so than anywhere else in the nation. But we are about to wrap up our severe weather coverage for this evening. Again, if severe weather pops up here within the next couple hours, we'll be back live for part 3 coverage for today. Otherwise, plan on, for those who are YouTube members, joining us back here at around 1:10, give or take, for a watch party. As I just saw something that caught my eye here real quick. I'm going to look at that, match it up, and that is just a downburst. Okay. So, yeah, we're going to hop off. If you liked our coverage, you're new here, feel free to hit that follow button. We'll be back for more severe weather coverage in the future. Follow, like, subscribe, depending on what platform you're on. We do this 24/7, 365 days a year, no matter the time of the day. So feel free to follow along, as I keep mentioning and keep repeating myself. I'm dead brain right now. It's been one of those days. But hopefully everyone in the UP has found the severe weather coverage helpful. We'll be back in case there's more severe weather coverage for the UP. As always, we are live on Facebook, YouTube, X, and Twitch. Now, obviously, before we go, we also have to shout out our sponsors, which do help keep our operations running 24/7, as we mentioned. Can't do it without them. So feel free to listen up here. Most of these sponsors are, or all these sponsors are in the Lower Peninsula. So if you are watching in the Upper Peninsula and you would like to be a sponsor, the board's wide open for you. We're looking for sponsors for the UP. Feel free to send us an email. But here are all of our sponsors here at MSC. We have about a dozen and a half. And if any of these are in your neck of the woods, feel free to screenshot the stream, take down the phone number, and you could use them for future business. Starting off with StormGuard Roofing and Construction, based out of North Metro Detroit. Lifestyle Exteriors, based out of Lansing to Traverse City, so the central Michigan region. Also from Lansing down to Potterville and even Battle Creek, give Katz Roofing and Siding. All your powder coating needs, turn to Pro Powder, based out of South Haven. Mike Hayes Roofing and Siding, based out of Sanilac and St. Clair counties in Thumb. McKay Tree Specialists, based out of Southeast Michigan. Kuiper Tree Care, based out of West Michigan. FBI Buildings, based out of pretty much the entire Lower Peninsula, as well as across state lines for all of your barn dominium needs. On Top Roofing, based out of Livingston County. Got Schneider Commercial Building Solutions for all of your commercial roofing needs, based out of Lansing. Shield Public Adjusters for all of your insurance adjustment needs, based out of Lansing. Top Gun Roofing and Exteriors for all of your roofing and siding and gutter needs across West Michigan. A-Class Construction and Restoration, based out of Mason County, up there in Northwest Lower. Rainbow Restoration, based out of Kent County, also in West Michigan. Rapid Radios for all of your LTE wireless radio needs. Turn to Rapid Radios. It is our trusted partner for chasing communications here at MSC now. And lastly, Guardian Technologies, based out of Burton, Michigan, for all of your security camera needs. And also our sponsor for everything Skynet here at MSC. We have a wide network of cams across the state, weather cameras that we're putting in. For those who are new here, we have 10 that are set up across the Lower Peninsula right now. We have both Lower Peninsula cameras and Upper Peninsula cameras in the future to come. We're probably going to be doubling our network here within the next couple months, or should be at least. We have big plans for that. And again, if you want to sponsor a camera, you can do so at the link that has just been shared here on our YouTube stream. It's a jot form. Just fill it out as much as possible, and that way we can contact you back at the contact information you give us, and we'll get you started with a quote, etc., etc. If you have any questions for cameras, you can also send Ryan an email, ryan@michiganstormchasers.com. If you'd like to become a sponsor, you can turn to Andrew or Chandler. Their emails are the same thing with their first name at michiganstormchasers.com. So it's Andrew or Chandler at michiganstormchasers.com. Other than that, again, we're watching tomorrow. That's all I can say right now. We'll be back here in an hour or two, or in about 2 hours, with that watch party. Otherwise, we may be doing a briefing in the morning. We'll see, depending on how open our mornings are there. Probably a late morning before the severe weather starts, so be ready. Kind of have that on your calendar just in case. And obviously, we'll have severe weather graphics coming out tomorrow morning as well. So tune in. We'll keep you guys covered from beginning to end. For those living in the Lower Peninsula, tomorrow is the play. I probably just ruined what you wanted to say, Drew, but if you have anything else to add, feel free to do so right now.
Yeah. No, you basically covered it all. We'll have that watch party and do a deep dive with how everything played out. And for those that aren't, we will have updated forecasts for tomorrow morning as well. So it will be a mainly lower Michigan day tomorrow. That I can say.
Indeed. Last look at the radar here continues those showers and thunderstorms across Iron and Baraga counties, now about to enter Dickinson and Marquette counties within the next 15 to 20 minutes. Not severe. If they go severe, we'll be back live. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching tonight. On your way out, make sure to hit that like button. Help support our operations here at Michigan Storm Chasers the best for free. And obviously, sharing via word of mouth what we do here at Michigan Storm Chasers is the best way to help continue our operations. All engagement helps, and it helps pay for these streams to keep you guys in the loop 24/7, 365 days a year for all severe weather coverage. Again, I'm Chief Meteorologist Joel Fritzma, and we have Drew Bremmel below me. We are the Michigan Storm Chasers. We'll catch you guys next time for another live stream here at Michigan Storm Chasers, whether that's a live watch party tonight or a live briefing / severe weather coverage tomorrow for your Wednesday across the Lower Peninsula. Have a great night, everyone. If we don't see you later tonight, have a great night, and we'll catch you tomorrow for that coverage. Take care, everyone.
See you guys.
As always, also shout out to our mods. Thank you guys very much.